Hello and welcome to the first ever bonus episode of Club Flashpoint that I am officially dubbing Too Many Games. As we mentioned in our podcast, there are too many fucking games out there, and I decided to do something about it. I am Faden Cross, your host for this special segment, special cases, special exceptions, bonuses. I can't find the words.
Special expedition, some might say.
Oh, yes. This is a special expedition, and we have a special guest today. Someone new to the podcasting world, a friend of mine, Jon. Jon.
Hi, I'm Jon. The reason Faden is not saying my last name is because they are afraid of mispronouncing it.
It's Calais.
It's Callies. I wish it was Calais. Thank you very much.
So French for this French game we're going to talk about.
I could not be further from French, and I've been to France, and I'm pretty sure that my mere presence was offensive.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, most Americans' presence in France are offensive, but also French people are offensive in themselves.
Humans are offensive generally.
No, not humans. Just certain types of humans. French people, Americans, British, the Western imperialist kind.
The colonizers.
Yeah, the colonizers. So my biggest experience with French people is I one time was in a hostel in the UK, and there was these French middle schoolers screaming at people walking down like below us on the streets. They were at a floor above us, and they were just harassing everyone that walked by our hostel.
What were they saying? You probably
I don't know. I don't know French. I don't know French at all.
Merde. That's all I know. And yeah, I mispronounced it right now.
Yeah, merde.
See, you got that little accent.
That's the theater, because in like dance, I used to do a lot of dance, and so before you would go on, you'd say merde.
Merde.
As opposed to good luck, or as opposed to break a leg, you'd say merde.
Fair enough. That's so very dramatic. I did some drama in high school and college too, but I don't have a singing voice, so I can't really. I was limited in my roles.
Okay, so you were just an actor.
Yeah, I guess.
You Did you dance?
At the time, not very well, because I was so very insecure with my body. I'm actually the rare person that, as I've gotten older, my dancing has gotten much better and smoother.
I don't think that's rare. I think that's normal, actually.
Is it?
I don't know. That's technically how all dancers go, right?
I don't spend a lot of time in the clubs, unfortunately,
yeah.
So I actually don't know how my dancing would measure up with other elder millennials.
You prescribe yourself in the elder millennial.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm firmly just stuck in mid-millennial.
You're mid-millennial? I thought you were Gen Z. That was my...
I am not Gen Z. I am 32.
I thought you were Gen Z. I thought you were in your 20s.
Wow. Thank you or / fuck you?
I would say more toward fuck you than think.
Yeah.
Like, he's young. He's immature. I actually just thought that you were Gen Z because you're so anti a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, I'm a hater.
And that tends to be more of a youthful trait. I think.
That's just a commie trait. Just straight up. That's just being a commie living in this country trait.
Fair enough.
That's really what it is. I have an important question to start off our conversation on Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
All right.
Do you think it feels good to be gommaged?
I would hope so. I would hope that it felt kind of like just a release,
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a little release. They didn't seem to be in pain, which was good. You see people just sort of go with it. Maybe it'd be like, you ever try those head scratchers? That massage your head and it gets all tingly. I feel like maybe it's like a whole body experience of that.
Okay, like just a tingle sensation.
Yeah, but like the one that gives you shivers, like little titillating shingles down your spine. Shingles isn't a word.
Oh, no, shingles is a word.
Shingles is a
you
word.
just don't want those down your spine.
No, you do not.
You don't want the shingles there.
Shivers, yes. The shingles, keep that far away from my spine as long as you can.
As
in
long as you can. I think it feels great. So I think gommage is a play on exfoliation in French.
Okay.
And I love exfoliating my skin. So I think it feels great.
Well, and you know what? We need to get the creators on the next podcast.
No, I'm not going to do that. No.
And we will see how they feel about it.
Nah. I'm not going to ask them shit. That's my
those French people.
Fuck French people.
Just fuck French people.
Fuck French people. Anyways, let's
To
talk
our
about
French listeners,
to our French listeners, thank you for listening. You're the cool one.
You are the cool one.
Now, you got this game for me.
Yes.
Why? I'm curious. I mean, you told me, but like, have you?
I like to give games to friends.
Okay.
I do it with a lot of my friends. One of my closest friends, who I've known since high school, we give each other games fairly frequently. And we had talked a bit about games and the types of games that we liked, as we grew up and as we sort of ventured into the gaming world. And we generally liked a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
So when I started playing this game, the fact that it had a lot of the positive qualities that I'm sure we'll dig into later, just present in the game, on top of a killer sound, absolutely. Like, if there's one thing that they went a little overboard on, I would say in this game, it's the soundtrack. Absolutely amazing soundtrack, excellent voice acting. I was like, Faden, they're gonna love this. So, of course, and the fact that it was priced so moderately, it didn't really feel like it was a hit in the bank. And I like to make that first move too, so that way everyone always feels indebted to me.
Right. Yeah. You have to kind of when you're keeping score, you have to make sure you're in the black and they're in the red.
I always keep score. I'm of the firm belief that there's nothing more anxiety-inducing than being on the receiving end of a gift.
You know what?
Because
that's partially true. Yeah.
Because everyone keeps score. Unless you're a sociopath, in which case you're just a taker, right?
I don't keep score, and I'm a giver. I'm that type of sociopath.
I mean, I think so far, technically, you've given me more games than I've given you. So,
and arguably, I've given you better ones.
Arguably, yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't know. I
haven't
played them yet.
You haven't played neither Norco or Dungeon Encounters.
No, what I'm gonna play next actually is the first game that you recommended to me, which is not Pentiment. The one about disability, the blind game.
Oh yes, the Veil, Shadow of the Crown.
Yes,
and when you do, you can listen to our podcast episode on it.
Oh, perfect. That's
a nice companion.
Good plug for your own podcast.
Right, good plug for my own podcast, which I'm sure everyone listening to this has probably already listened to.
Yes.
Skyrim could be a good game is constantly what I think about when I think about that game.
Skyrim could be a good game?
Yeah, but also it can't be because fuck Microsoft. So, I mean, boycott, divest, sanction, Microsoft.
I agree.
We're not gonna talk about it.
Although I am really anticipating the re-release of Skyrim onto TI-86 calculators. I hear the graphics update on that is going to be phenomenal.
I think they're adding a new mini game where it's like stocks.
Yeah.
To really use the graphing part of the calculator.
I agree. And it's just going to be lots of sine puns.
Oh, I love sine and cosine puns.
Oh my God, they're so great.
I love thinking about. I used to call it sin.
Sin?
As a kid.
Well, that makes sense.
What's the sin
that
button?
Makes sense. Yeah. Sorry about this tangent, everybody.
Oh, I don't know. They can deal with tangents if they're listening to a podcast and they're not expecting tangents. I'm sorry, you chose the wrong one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to be a cute guy over here.
Yeah, Oh, God damn it. Okay. Well, so Clair Obscur, you got it from me because I believe I was also like, I'm going to wait till it goes on sale. I don't like to buy games at full price.
And I wanted to talk about the game with you because, our lives, we generally cross every so often, at least once a month sometimes. And I like to be able to have a conversation with you about things that we are interested in. And I was like,
always have great conversations.
And I was like, I don't want to wait for a good conversation. I don't mind spending money for a good conversation. That's my OnlyFans pitch. Anybody? I have one. If you want to have a good conversation with me, it's $5 a month.
Wait, do you really?
No.
Pending
interest.
I think you would be a hit with the gay community. You have so many gay guys being into you.
I have that experience because I did my undergrad in LA and I spent a lot of time in West Hollywood. And as a cishet man who's very comfortable in his sexuality, I had no problem showing some skin in WeHo and getting free drinks as an undergrad. So thank you.
WeHo indeed.
Thank you to the gay community in WeHo for keeping a young man inebriated.
Well liquored.
Well liquored.
Man, they must have been so disappointed.
One of them very much was. That's a story for another time and another podcast.
Oh God, yeah. Let's the gay bar horror story podcast.
He didn't feel good when he got gommaged, I should say.
Oof.
I know.
So I'm 32, which means I'm going to be on this expedition. You're gommaged.
I've been gommaged. I am gone. I'm out of here.
What's the plot of this game? Would you like to give me the high level overview of this, since you are our resident Clair Obscur expert?
The plot of this game, you start off as Gustav, and since I'm going to give a bare bones plot summary because I don't know where we are in terms of spoiler discussion.
Just as bare bones, as high level as possible.
High level. So every single year, the oldest members of the population get gommaged, which it's not quite exfoliated. They get exfoliated from France, from fictional France.
From fake France.
From fake France.
Eiffel Tower fucked up.
And so, because the older generations are always the ones to be eliminated, the next generation always goes on, at least a few members always go on an expedition over to the continent where the Paintress, who is the main antagonist of the game for the most part, that's where her hideaway is, her sanctuary, her canvas, some might say, where she paints the number of the year that is going to be gommaged. So Gustav, he is 32 years old, the same as Faden, and because he is going to die within the next year, him and his compatriots, along with his adoptive sister Maëlle, who is quite young, and
she's 16, I believe.
She's
16,
16.
17.
So a lot of hoopla, as they say, if you're my age. A lot of hoopla is brought about because of her age and the fact that she still has a life that she can live if she wants to. But because Maëlle is a teenager, and as all 16-year-olds know, there's nothing more that you want to do than just die.
Well, there's nothing more you want to do than leave your boring-ass hometown when the people you like also leave.
That's very true, and I can't imagine that the prospects for either fun or romantic partners is very high anymore.
Yeah.
I was trying to do some thinking on my drive over here about as the years get younger, the population density shrinks, and so everyone becomes more and more in danger of becoming related. And that becomes a problem pretty quickly.
Thankfully, this game doesn't get into any of that. Thank God.
Thankfully, it's not an offensive type of game where Expedition 33 all suffer from the effects of incest. So that's good. We
was not expecting
We
this.
do not know the population of Lumiere.
That's so true.
And
That's
it is
so
getting
true.
smaller and smaller every year.
My main thought when thinking about this, the paintress, she paints 33, so all 33-year-olds get exfoliated out of the world. My thought was, the worst problem is going to be when we're getting to what is going to be the youngest age? When do people stop having babies? And so someone at some point is probably going to be a 5-year-old getting gommage, living alone with the kingdom of 6-year-olds. That was my thought of what was that's the worst case scenario.
I think what I would have had to do if I was a citizen of Lumiere, one of the older citizens that was going to be gommage, I would have a contingency plan set up to where after a certain year, 25, the people who are about to be gommaged kill everybody else, because otherwise it's just going to get, like you said, it's just going to get lonelier and lonelier and lonelier and more of an insane existence. It's just, I can't imagine, like you said, a 5-year-old alone in Lumiere, waiting to be gommaged.
With
All they're staring at with the other, assuming that they're not even alone. Who knows how many children? Because fewer and fewer children are also being born. There's going to be a time when only one child is born.
Yeah,
and then that child's going to be left staring at the paintress, waiting to be starved to death.
or just starved to. So I do think it was interesting. There is a I can't remember the councilwoman, Gustav's sister.
Yes,
she is specifically preparing as her project, the Last Generation. She is preparing to have the Last Generation be taken care of, and there's a split between the city people and the expedition people, where the city people think expeditions are useless. We keep sending them out. We've sent 67 of these out. They've done nothing. Why even bother?
I mean, I can't. So I guess to keep going with the summary of the game,
Yeah.
because you're about to touch on a point that I wanted to talk about. So Gustav, the main character, along with his compatriots, set off on this expedition to find this paintress, uncover as much information about that continent as they can, because they know nothing about the continent to which they're traveling. So a side mission for every expedition is to leave behind these journals and diaries that sort of explain audio logs, essentially podcast episodes that future expeditioners have to like and subscribe to if they want to figure out more of what's going on on this strange continent.
But you like and subscribe them by finding them on the corners of the map that isn't the main path.
I guess if you want. And so through a lot of trials and tribulations, the party does eventually defeat the paintress, and things happen.
Twists.
And twists abound. And so yeah, that's the general overview. Is you need to sail from Lumiere to the continent and defeat the paintress to stop the end of the world, essentially.
Yeah, to stop COVID-19.
Still working through it.
You're still working through it. Let's talk about just overall. How'd you like it?
This is one of those things where I think the game is absolutely amazing. I think it's fantastic. But
yeah, a lot of people love this game.
Now that I've set it down for a while and just sort of sitting with it, I think it's fantastic. I think it's one of the best written, wholly original games that we've gotten in recent memory. But this is also coming from a non-gamer as well.
You're calling yourself a non-gamer? Hold on.
I play a lot of very specific games.
Yeah.
I don't. As someone who is comfortable lamenting on their shortcomings, I don't sort of venture outside of my comfort zone too often. Mm-hmm. So I generally stick with RPGs. I stick with fighting games. I stick with
you do. You definitely stick with fighting games.
I stick with roguelikes, and at work, if anyone's listening, at where we work, I do play a lot of Slay the Spire at work.
There's nothing better than gaming passively while working.
Yes, or actively gaming while working. But no, I don't consider myself a gamer. But yeah, I would say that this is a fantastic game. It's near perfect. It has problems like any piece of creative work does. It's gonna have problems. Mm-hmm. People have problems. So
I got problems.
The products. Well, we don't need to expand upon that here, but yes, yes, you do. But generally, I think that I'm very satisfied.
Yeah, very high on this game.
Very high on this game. I think that it has a replayability. I think that a second playthrough of this game is very rewarding.
Okay.
It's very rich once you start noticing, because you've played through the game and you know the twists and you know the reality of the world in which these characters live. Everything they start to say takes on a new valence. It takes on a new sort of structure of meaning. And I found my second playthrough to be incredibly rewarding.
Okay. I did not do a second playthrough.
I didn't think you would.
I don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But also, this is a game where I love its combat systems for the most part a lot. I really like playing this thing. I like getting into battles. I like fighting enemies. I love finding their weaknesses and doing a whole bunch of weird battle things and skills. I like the combos. I like to do that sort of thing. I think the story is weighed down by its twists. I think the twists are too load-bearing. that they paced the story really badly, and that really disappointed me finishing the game, where I finish Act 3 and go, Jesus, okay, I guess, sure.
I can see that. Should we just assume that people who are listening now
are good for spoilers? I actually kind of want to break this. Let's talk about maybe combat first. I want to talk about the gameplay first.
Yeah,
let's get the gameplay out of the way.
Since you loved the combat so much, tell me what you really liked about the combat system.
Super Mario RPG: The Legend of the Seven Stars is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. And I think this game gets close to that feeling. I don't think it nails it exactly, but it adds it adds like a different wrinkle to it, where in the form of parries. This game is to bring out an old classic from the 2010s era of how anyone talked about any games. This is the Dark Souls of RPGs. Yes, no, but it has a lot of similar mechanics down to refillable potions that you get when you rest, enemies respawning when you rest, focus on parrying and dodging. I love a turn-based combat system. Just straight up. If you got that, I'm pretty sold. I really like taking turns. I really like those turns determine how much speed you have, though I have a suspicion that's not true, because I had characters that were way faster than others and they were acting last.
Yeah, this game has a lot of issues with how the Pictos interact with the character's base stats too, because if two characters have the Picto, quick strike or whatever, the one where you play first, if they both have it on, then what determines their play? Is it their speed? And I thought that it was, but I could fucking swear that there were some times where Mael's my fastest character, and they every single character has first strike on them. And there'd be times when like CL or Verso or Lune would go first, and and it makes it incredibly difficult in a turn-based game that's strategic in nature, to plan your encounters if you have someone with first strike and they're not going first.
Yeah, I had to just eventually stop worrying about first strike and go, whoever's first, I gotta keep that, like, they're consistently first. I'm just gonna keep that in mind and play as if they're always gonna be first.
Yeah, the only time that didn't work out for me is when we were getting into higher level characters later in the game, where you need to strategize a bit more. You have characters that have a bit more weight to them, and you want them to go in a certain order. So you have to start to. I do like the fact that you have to think about the Pictos that you have equipped.
Yeah.
And
do you want to explain the Picto system?
And equip them. So if you've played Final Fantasy IX, you're familiar with the Picto system. Essentially, these are things that you loot from enemies. Think about them like accessories.
Yeah.
Each character can equip 3. And then after 4 battles with the equipped Pictos, they become learned. And what that means is every character that has learned an equipped Picto can unequip that Picto and equip the passive version of it, which just gives the passive buffs. So a Picto...
Double burn.
A Picto like Double Burn, it might have huge buffs to like your health and your critical rate if you equip the Picto fully in one of those 1 out of 3 equipable spots. But if you just want the double burn effect of it, you can unequip it and equip it through your Lumina, and you'll get that passive buff.
Yeah. I kind of really do like the system. I feel like you could cut 50% of the Pictos.
Like any RPG, you can cut pretty much anything that's not going to become meta.
Well, it's not even meta. I don't get any of why anyone would do the, like, if you're solo, you get rush and you get all these benefits.
Well, because a lot of characters and a lot of Pictos have benefits to, like, instant death and stuff like that. So if you have characters that do a huge burst of damage when they die, or refill everyone's AP when they die. You could theoretically, they could die, refill everyone's AP. Mael has solo equipped. She's fully buffed, and Stendhal's everything.
See, this is the other aspect of it. There
are a lot of different play styles.
Yeah, it's a lot of big building blocks you can do to do big combos.
And that's part of the appeal to the game for me is the creativity of it. And the game can be as hard, as difficult, or as easy as you would like it.
That is true.
Later in the game, you get certain game-breaking OP pictos. And
I love Cheater. Cheater's amazing.
Exactly, Cheater's amazing.
I love playing twice in a row, no matter what.
The one that makes you exceed the damage cap.
Painter's power, yep. Gotta exceed 9,999.
And you don't need that if theoretically you could beat the game
without it,
and all the optional bosses if you just got good enough with your parries.
Yeah, and you can do it at level 1 with no stat attributes, but only sickos do that, and I'm not one of those.
I mean, this game isn't good for that. I don't think that's possible because there are things like curse.
Well, just you wait. Watch as
there's going to be a no-hit speed run.
Yeah, there's going to be a no-hit speed run. I'm sure it's out there right now because you're learning enemies, timings. I had a hard time with the parry. You witnessed me have a hard time with the parry.
Yes, I did.
But I love trying to parry.
And I do like that the game introduces. It does have 2 different counterattacks. Like 2 different.
Well, it has
when
3,
you're learning
really.
It has 3, really, because jumping is one of them. But basically for the game, you have 2. You have dodge and parry. Dodge is way more forgiving, but you do not get the option for that juicy counterattack damage. Love the counterattack. I love the counterattack pictos that give you break damage. It's so good. It's so juicy. But then there are certain fights where, man, if you fuck up that parry, you are gomaged. You're exfoliated.
You're done. It can get rough. You can get one shot so easily in this.
Yes. Yes, you can. But I think that what this game does, it does really well. I think this is a game that is possibly the only instance, you would know more than me because you're more of a gamer, of a jack of all trades actually being like the top tier of a very specialized niche genre. So jack of all trades, master of none, right? There have been endless comps about this game, endless observations about how this game takes combat from Legend of Dragoon or Persona or Super Mario RPG, takes its story beats from these games, takes its musical beats from this, takes Overworld from this.
Yeah, this is a composition.
So it's an amalgamation. It's a Frankenstein's monster of video games that instead of being cheap or gimmicky, and there are a lot of gimmicks to this game.
There's a lot of gimmicks to this
game. But
the
gimmicks don't come off as cheap, if you ask me. And for people who have played
SKA is my favorite gimmick.
Yeah, SKA, perfect gimmick. So well written too. But this game is a perfect amalgamation of all the things that we loved as kids from turn-based RPGs and storytelling, fused, I think, quite perfectly with modern ideas of gaming, what gameplay should be in the modern era.
See,
what
this
kind
is where
of
I think
stories.
It falters. Yeah.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
You can tell me how you think the story, and now you see why I think you're Gen Z, because tell me the ways in which this game fails. And
first of all, when you do attacks, it's time-based. They have these quick time little windows that pop up, and you have to hit the A button at the perfect timing to deal extra damage. Now, I like that, but it's only just the A button. You should be throwing in X's, Y's, and B's. You should be throwing different buttons at me, so I'm like on my toes.
I agree.
Or there should be specific button combos for different moves. That's what I'm used to, for especially like Super Mario RPG or Paper Mario.
I agree.
I think these sort of things.
I think that it took a little bit too much from Legend of Dragoon in terms of the QTEs, because Legend of Dragoon, for those of you who have played it, is...
I have not.
You have not. It's basically the same system as Clair Obscur, where the character will rush forward if you attack. and they will perform a series of moves that you have to time perfectly.
Yeah.
And you only press one button. I think it was a PlayStation 1 game, so I guess you'd press X or square. And once you figure out once you learn the player's combo for that particular attack, then it was pretty much the same. And the same could be said for Clair Obscur. I do think that it would have benefited a lot, even if they just did something as simple as like, we have support abilities. Make the support abilities a QTE where you have to press a different button, circle, or...
I like thinking about moves like Sabin. Final Fantasy VI, where in order to do a suplex, you have to press up, down, left, right, yada yada. Like, you have to know these buttons, and I kind of like that where you have to study combos. Even this is maybe the fighter game in me where I'm like, I want to do a quarter turn, press A, and then you can do a certain move.
Well, and that's the problem with, I think, a lot of RPGs. A lot of problems that RPGs nowadays find themselves in is, what exactly is a role-playing game now? You could look on Steam and fucking Call of Duty is labeled as a role-playing game. And it's to what end? Yeah, it is.
Jeez.
Same thing, like Destiny is a role-playing game.
Well, that kind of makes sense.
Anything with a skill tree is a role-playing game. And I don't necessarily agree. However,
think skill trees are a scourge on our games, and I think Clair Obscur actually has a real bad skill tree that it's very unclear what skills are actually useful.
I tend to agree. The only way in which I would disagree is because it's not a skill tree.
It is a skill tree. You can't say there's literally branches with different paths.
There are branches with different paths, but once you reach max level, you unlock all of the abilities.
Well, sure.
So there's
not everyone's reaching max level.
Everybody's reached.
I did not.
I reached max level on both playthroughs.
That's unhinged. That's unhinged.
Guys, it's not hard. Anyway. For someone who likes combat, I'm surprised you didn't combat all the way to level 99. It's tedious, but I love it. Okay.
I want to just beat the game at a certain point.
I do think that, like, if you want to become like an RPG, like a true to life RPG, it would make sense to have different button combos for different characters that you would have to memorize if you want to role play as those characters. That makes sense to me. I think that with what Clair Obscur does and what it executes well. Are there things that could be improved upon? Yeah, I got very sick of the overworld music, and given the fact that this has over 150 tracks, I think
I was listening to some on Spotify today, and I was shocked with how much music there is, which also kind of made me a little lower on the music because there's a lot of garbage.
There's a lot of garbage, and
some of the tracks are some of the best tracks I've heard in game music in a while.
The problem is if you release a book of since I write poetry, I'll just say if you release a book of poems and it has every single fucking poem you've ever written in there, there's going to be some really fucking bad poems in there. There's going to be some poems from my undergrad days that are terrible.
But you see, you didn't release a book of poems of every single poem that you ever written.
No, but that's what they did with Clay. Like you need to cull some of it.
I think part of its problem is they need to cull some ideas down. It feels like a lot of stuff.
Do they need to call ideas, or do they need to expand on their things?
So what I mean by they need to call these, you call things so you can expand. You only have a certain amount of time, especially. This game's too long. It's also kind of part of my problem too.
It's too long, but too short.
No, it's just too long.
No, I think it's the third act problem that you run into.
It's so bad. It's the third act is real rough.
Because if you just play right through. And you don't do any of the optional side content.
You play right through. I played a lot of side content.
I played all of the side content. And it gets pretty. It does drag on. It does drag on.
How do you feel about platforming as a side content?
I hate platforming as side content. I find that it's very lazy and time consuming and trite. And I don't do it. And I hate it. And I dislike it.
Did you do all the gestural beats still?
I did none of them because I'm bad at platforming. I'm so bad at platforming.
So you didn't get the sexy swimsuits.
I got CLs, I think, and I got Versos. So really,
you didn't get Minoko's like Speedo and a lifeguard life raft.
I actually don't even know where you unlock that. Is it a beat? Is it one of the beaches?
It's the getting over it style beach where it's a really, really, really tall, like a whole bunch of just objects you have to jump and like climb up.
Oh, I did get that one. That one was pretty easy.
That one was kind of annoying.
The one for the thirst trap, the one for Lune, I hear, is the most aggravating one.
With the spinning of the
yeah.
I got Lune's. I got CL.
Yeah.
I did not know how to pronounce that woman's name for the longest time.
Say it a lot in the game too, and I mess it up too.
Yeah, too French. Yeah, I like some of the gestural beach stuff. I like volleyball. Volleyball's goofy.
I didn't even play the volleyball. I don't even know where it's located. I found the mini games to be
they're bare bones and kind of annoying.
They're bare bones, and they're so out of the way too.
They really are.
That if you don't uncover it, the map system actually kind of pissed me off in this game.
Oh yeah.
I hated the map system.
I don't. Yeah, the overworld main map's kind of really bad.
It's terrible. I wish that it would give me the names of places that I hover over. It only does it for some of them.
It only does it if you enter there.
I did not know that.
Yep,
and
that's what I discovered. You have to enter the place to get the name on the map, which feels ridiculous because you can walk up to it and it will be like, oh, this is the Paintress Workshop. It's danger. You shouldn't go in here. But then you don't remember that's the Paintress Workshop.
Exactly. And that's like, that's a problem
bad.
that I had with the game personally.
I think the overworld's kind of cute.
I think the overworld's very cute. But what I was going to say is, considering its vast array of music, I wish that you could change the overworld music if you could. I wish that you could change. I wish that there was a little bit more customization with... Like the camp music is great. I like that you can change the music at the camp, but let's be fucking honest. Anytime that I'm in the camp, I'm not trying to like hang out there for a super long time just listening to the music, you know? Like, let us change the music to the overworld, to where we're exploring, at least for like NG+, because like you have this amazing soundtrack. Let the players explore it a little bit more.
I like the second overworld soundtrack actually a lot. I like Act 2's overworld soundtrack quite a bit. It's really just haunting and sad. I kind of want to talk about the music. Well, it's recorded badly. I don't know if you noticed this. It's not recorded really well. It kind of has like this, like some tracks just sound wrong. Like, do
you think they ripped it straight from his SoundCloud?
No, I think they just didn't have good recording equipment for specifically choir aspects.
Oh, I know what you're saying now.
Yeah, because they sound off.
They sound off.
And not intentionally off.
Yeah.
Sometimes the quality is really good, especially when they're like going for bombastic choir, it feels like it's almost clipping in a way. I don't think it's clipping, but it feels like it is.
Like it's overlaid wrong.
Right.
That's the right
thing. It's something like that. It just sounds off.
It meshed well.
No, it's not mixed well.
That's the word. Mixed.
It's really weird because not all the tracks are like that.
The instrumental tracks are some of the best I've heard in a very long time, but I do think because games like Final Fantasy XIV, like the early versions of Final Fantasy XIV, when you first faced Titan, right, that rock music one, really sucked. It was really bad.
Now,
but as the game progresses, they got better with audio mixing. For the most part.
I think their mixing's fine. I just don't like their composition.
That's fair.
I feel like Final Fantasy XIV does a lot of here's the greatest hits done badly.
That's actually valid criticism.
I think how they butchered Kane's theme from Nier Replicant.
I agree. I fucking hated that.
Speaking of Nier Replicant, the music has it's like Nier music and Clair Obscur music. It feels like very similar to me, where Nier does a lot of like nonsense Latin mixed with real Latin, and Clair Obscur does a lot of nonsense French mixed with real French.
I mean, is it really nonsense French?
Some of it is nonsense French, yeah, intentionally. Okay. Like anytime they're singing Clair Obscur, it's kind of nonsense. Okay,
because I was wondering, I had read some things where a lot of the lyrics do sort of hint at some of the themes of
right. Not all the lyrics. Yeah, that's the thing. Just some lyrics. They kind of throw it in there.
They don't want to spoil it for the French people who are playing. You know, they don't want to spoil who gets exfoliated and who doesn't get exfoliated.
Well, I think it just like kind of works in the Nier way, where it feels really ethereal and different. It feels of this world, but like slightly removed.
But so do you find that because they were trying to go for that sort of ethereality,
I think it works really well.
it works really well, but what you're saying is that it's not mixed well, so
No.
like it feels a little bit maybe contrived a little bit. Like
No,
like,
it's just I think that's just a recording issue. I just think that's just a technical issue that it fails in.
Well, speaking of like technical issues, I want to talk about how like you're finding technical issues perhaps with the soundtrack and the mixing. But I have to say, I was very impressed playing this game at release. I did not encounter a single bug.
Oh,
My entire playthrough, except for maybe like clipping bugs where I accidentally jumped to a spot where I wasn't supposed to be.
I'm too jump coded, so I was jumping everywhere.
Same.
And here's another issue with this game. It's made in Unreal Engine 5, so it looks like that. TM. Some people like that aesthetic. I think it kind of looks like garbage. I think it makes it look muddled. I think a lot of distances are really blurry. That I don't really, it's unappealing. And I'm not working on a weak graphics card or anything. I have a really nice one. I got like a 3090 and I have a good CPU, a good processor, a lot of space on my hard drive. And yet, it's still really blurry to look at. And it's still, when they don't have a mini map for the dungeons, you don't know where to go.
Yes,
at all.
I agree.
You just truly don't know where to go.
My first
Constantly.
playthrough, I got stuck in Esky's cave for fucking ever because it's my first playthrough. I'm trying to explore and get
I want to get everything.
I see the glowy thing in the distance. I know that I have to go around and jump and do something, but then when I get around, I don't see a way. It's like right near the entrance. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, how the hell do I get the thing that's right near the entrance?
So
and it turns out that you only get it by completing Esky's cave, and he knocks the barrier down, and then you could go to the exit. I actually turned off the game once that happened because I was exploring, I thought I was missing something. I thought I was going insane. They have no revealable minimap.
And like it could
even just do it like a Cloud of War thing where, okay, you've never been here, uncover it.
Well, here's the other thing. It could also work if your maps and environments are parsable, which they're not. They're just not, because it's this Unreal Engine. We're going for high fidelity. We need it to look like this for whatever reason, even though I do remember telling you, man, it's kind of a bummer they show the painting of Gustav and Sophie, because it'd be really cool if this game was like a painting.
Yeah.
No, having a prophecy and foresight, I feel like I'm so vindicated by that thought.
I agree. I do think that, and I know that you want to talk about this later in terms of the actual size of their crew, but since they were all familiar with Unreal Engine, it doesn't really bother me that they used the engine that they were most familiar with.
Well, that depends.
In order to...
Ubisoft used a few different engines until it started switching to Unreal. And they were working in Unreal Engine 4 at first, and then they switched to 5.
I just remember watching some like documentaries on YouTube from the production crew, and they were just sort of gushing about the capabilities of Unreal 5 mixed with the ease of access for people.
Yeah, it is well known. So when you're hiring, it helps that you're like, we're running Unreal Engine 5, and so you know this.
Or for like a lot of the things that you have issues with, if you're subcontracting out to people, it's a lot easier to subcontract out to people if they're familiar with the software that they were.
Yeah, while we're talking about it, it's so annoying that people say this was made by 30 people. When I watch the credits, they go on forever. No, it was not.
Yeah, I think that that's valid. I also think that it's empty criticism just because I haven't heard the creators come out and say, yo, dude.
They haven't said that, but there's a way that this game's kind of talked about that I think is really annoying.
They haven't corrected it. And that's the problem. It's a lie it's a myth by omission now.
Yeah. It's one of those things where the story... Don't let the truth, as my fellow podcaster Dale sometimes says, which every time I call him out for this, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah.
Which no, shut up.
Yeah, no, but the problem is that this is not myth. This is community myth making around the game. It wasn't something that was like
community though, because now we're getting like YouTubers that do it. We get like
but like that YouTubers, they generally parrot the best thing or the most hyped up thing. So of course they're going to say, oh, the first week of Clair Obscur being released.
Yeah.
Look at what they did with only 30 people. And then a month later,
they moved on to something else.
Well, no. Or it's like Clair Obscur didn't really have 30 people. Look at all these other people that they exploit. It's like whatever the next thing is that they can talk about the game to get clicks.
Yeah.
Should those subcontract?
Yes. No, I don't feel like YouTubers do that as much. I feel like there's not much criticism YouTube that's popular because that's just not usually a popular thing. People want to hear about why this thing is cool. And I think we kind of have... that's what I see with YouTubers is like...
Well, it's your algorithm too.
Maybe, but I feel like that's usually they're the ones that get the most views. You see like a criticism thing, that's like maybe a couple thousand at most. You see...
Oh no, man, that's not my experience on YouTube at all. All of the angry people,
I mean, bad.
Who was that dumb
good
guy?
Critics,
Angry
I'm gonna
Joe.
say.
Angry Joe.
Angry
Reacts
video
or
gamer, or the angry gaming nerd or whatever.
I don't like that. I don't like a lot of purposefully antagonistic things.
That's the thing. It's either something really
because those tend to be more right leaning nowadays.
Yes. This is kind of what I'm trying to say. I'm saying it badly. YouTubers that are really popular that kind of dominate popular consensus with these things now because we don't have any journalistic apparatus anymore. It's been hollowed out and destroyed. We get either the really effusive, affable. We get the high praise YouTuber, or we get the reactionary anger YouTuber, and those are the popular ones where I feel like people breaking down like actual criticism, really like doing the work.
Oh, so like
tend to not
like critical analyses.
Yeah,
videos.
Those people tend to not get as much spotlight because it's not as rewarding to listen to, quite honestly. Which it can be.
Those are the ones that I like to listen to, but I'm an English nerd, so I tend to really dig into like meta analysis.
Well, and that's why you're here too. We're also going into this in specific ways that neither of those would go into.
Yeah. But I tend to agree with you. I think that myth making in general, if it gets in the way of facts and if it's not contradicted by the creators of the game, then it is a tacit agreement to the myth, and that is problematic.
Yeah, and it's more just like, I just think it sucks. I just think it sucks because
at the end of the day, I'm not going to like dock the game because other people are saying that it was made by 30 people, because there are the credits that go on forever. So they do give credit
for
to
sure,
everybody.
but people don't finish this game. That's the other thing. We're also in the era of, we just move on to the next popular game that has revolutionized everything.
I'm one of those people, actually. I have a very hard time finishing games.
And that's kind of like a stated goal for this podcast is we're taking the game as a whole, where it's positioned, and it's like we gotta go from everything. And that's why I'm so glad you finally finished the game.
Finally finished a game. And we're talking about it.
Yeah,
last game I finished was Final Fantasy VII when I was 15.
This game has such a lot of identity with Final Fantasy VII, which is interesting because they said Final Fantasy VIII is a big inspiration point.
I did not see any Final Fantasy VIII in this game.
I saw zero, except for the GF system, the Guardian Force system, where you're kind of equipping abilities to the summons that you have equipped to the characters.
Yeah, but still, so for me,
that's 9.
That's Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
So I didn't see any 8.
Yeah.
And of course, the Final Fantasy 7 parallels are obvious.
A lot.
But I actually think like a lot of people make a lot of comparisons to Final Fantasy 7. I would say that Final Fantasy 7 is easily supplanted by the Final Fantasy killer Legend of Dragoon, or at least it was supposed to be the Final Fantasy killer, because a lot of the main themes that happen in Legend of Dragoon also happen in Final Fantasy VII. The major beats, you lose a major character to death, and that's shocking. In Final Fantasy VII, that character is gone, but in Legend of Dragoon, that character is replaced by someone else, by an actual prince.
So that's kind of
it's kind of like
Clair Obscur.
It's kind of like, but not to talk about spoilers yet, but yeah, that's kind of what it does in Clair Obscur. So I see the comps to Final Fantasy VII.
Interesting.
I see more comps if we're talking about Final Fantasy to Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy IX. Final Fantasy X thematically and with regard to the soundtrack, and Final Fantasy IX for the Pictos.
I say 7 because of the theme about existential dread, with nature is destroying its people.
It's not nature though.
Well, I'm thinking about the comet coming down and
meteor,
the planet stuff.
But even then, that's Sephiroth that's causing that in Final Fantasy VII.
It's Genova with the black materia, and
there's still a major antagonist that's causing it to happen. But yes, they're
kind of true in this one though.
Environmental overtones are less present in Clair Obscur than in Final Fantasy VII, though.
That's, you know what? I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I'd ask you to point to me where the
Yeah,
the
no, you're
environmental
right. They're
criticism
really.
is.
I mean,
The lack of gravity?
yeah.
That's an environmental problem.
There's so little gravity in this game. It's really funny how things are just up,
Floating?
floating. There's so many floating islands, so many floating buildings,
So many floating creatures.
so
too.
many floating creatures. Fuck that snake.
I hated that guy.
I tried that snake.
That was the first thing I tried when I got
Oh,
flying.
yeah.
I think I'm going to fuck that thing up.
When an enemy steals all of your ability points, so you can't do any of your skills, I'm mad.
I understand
I
understand the gimmick.
It's honestly a good mechanic and it's a good fight. I just don't want to do it.
Well, it's kind of like the one rock creature, right? So the one creature that absorbs the AP, it absorbs a lot, and then it ends up harming itself. The bouncing
yeah.
creature ends up killing itself by bouncing too much.
Yep.
So I do like the fact that like the gimmicks that are so frustrating is, yeah, it seems OP. It seems like you're never gonna win this fight, but like the gimmick is the fight.
Right.
And
It's
that
trying
is
to navigate
that's
it.
problematic too, I guess.
No, I like it. I actually like that this game has a variety of enemy types. They do a lot of
Simon stealing shields. So
I don't
on
know.
And so forth.
I did not fight the super boss of this game.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I didn't do all the gestural beaches, so that's.
I didn't do all of them. I saw there was more after I got flying. I went, nah, I'm good.
I don't. I
I'm
can't
good.
fault you for that. And like fighting Simon, I didn't do it my first playthrough. I did it my second just to see if I could see what the hype was, and it was a very cool fight. It's very cool
describe
lore
the Simon fight.
and backstory. Well, I mean, the Simon fight has phases like a lot of the big fights do. First phase, Simon is laughably easy, if you ask me. Second phase is when blocking and parrying become almost like you need to spend the time to memorize because one swing from phase 1 turns into like 4 or 5 swings in phase 2. And so it gets very think like duelist, you know, the 4-armed guy or the 2-sworded guy.
Right.
Think that fight like but on steroids and crack like at the same time.
Okay.
Very rewarding fight. I honestly only did it because of the backstory with Clair.
Okay.
Which
okay.
we'll
that
talk
makes
about
sense.
later
okay.
maybe, but
Clair.
yeah.
I have some questions about some things in the story there, especially regarding her.
There are a lot of things about the story proper that I enjoyed, and there's a lot that, like with any good story, once you spend some time with it, you can nitpick it to hell.
I don't got nitpicks. I got broad structural issues, I think, and
Fair enough.
character issues.
I think that there's a lot of the main pro for this game is that it throws you in, and the player, much like the main protagonist Gustav, we don't know anything once we get over to the old. Like we know nothing. The game does not teach you how to play the game. Really, it teaches you the basics.
No, it does teach you how to play.
A lot of people
They have tutorials pop up all the time.
Sure, but a lot of people spend hours upon hours playing without knowing about the Lumina system. You know,
it doesn't teach you the Lumina system, which is odd. It teaches you the Pictos system, but not the Lumina system.
Exactly.
That's so strange with a game that really holds your hands. Every time there's a new status effect, the game
true.
stops and says, "This is this status effect." Every time you get a new counter, the game stops and says, "Here's how you do it." Every time you get a new mechanic, the game really does stop and tell you how to exactly do it. It really holds your hands with tutorials. I don't think it teaches you how to play. I think it tells you how to play.
I guess let me restructure that.
Yeah.
The game doesn't hold your hand with the story, and I would consider Pictos and Lumina part of the story, and not part of the gameplay proper, like curse or.
I do like the game throws you in it. Everyone has relationships at the start of the game in Lumiere, something.
Lumiere. There you go. Got to get that.
Got to get that hawk.
Got to get the hawk. The hawk Tua.
Sure.
Hawk Tua Lumiere, man.
Yeah, I'm just sucking dick in the Lumiere Gardens.
You and Renoir.
Oh my God. So, yeah, the thing I really like about the story, though, is Gustav has a relationship with every single one of these expeditioners, and they have a history, and that's the stuff I really love about this game. The histories of people matter, and it's something that isn't just told to you straight up. It's just kind of revealed through dialogue. Especially, like, there's a great scene with Lune and Shiel?
Lune and Ciel.
Lune and Shiel. I'm gonna just butcher these names this entire podcast. Besides Minoko,
that's okay. That is A-okay.
And Verso because of our job,
Which will remain secret.
but. It's so funny when you made a joke about Verso and table of contents and just flew right over my head because Verso is the front matter. It's a fancy word for front matter. Which does that relate
Verso is a fancy word for the second page.
Oh my god. Oh,
which makes sense when you consider in the story that he's the second page.
He's the second page. That's so amazing. That's kind of amazing.
If only you knew if only he did his job better, folks. If only he knew it better, is what he's saying. Faden's supervisor, if you're listening, please give them a bad review.
Oh, my review's coming up.
Oh, so is mine. When's yours?
Mine's 15th. When's yours?
August 28th.
Okay, yours isn't coming up. That's next month.
Yeah, but I'm out for surgery pretty soon, and then when I get back, then 2 days later is my review.
So I don't think Matt listens to this.
No, Matt doesn't give two shits about this anyway.
Also, yeah, he was gonna get. I have to tell him not to keep giving me exceeds expectation every single review because I'm like, at a certain point, it looks suspicious. You gotta not do that 3 years in a row.
Listen, everybody. This is an exceeds expectations person leading this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
They do such a good job.
I do. I work hard.
You work hard.
So yeah, let's get into the story.
Get into the story.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Act 1, Gustav,
the first page, right?
Page.
If we want to stick
God
with title page and
metaphors,
versos, right?
Jesus. Yeah, the title page, Gustav, Charlie Cox, does a surprisingly good job. I was really skeptical about Charlie Cox as an actor, but I wonder.
But you confused him with somebody, if I remember correctly, because I said Charlie Cox does good work, and you were like, "Yeah, but I was worried that he wasn't." And I was like, "Well, he was in Daredevil. He was in Peaky Blinders. He's a good actor."
He was in Peaky Blinders?
No, not Peaky Blinders.
That's Cillian Murphy.
That's Cillian. No, he was in Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, I've never seen Boardwalk.
He was in Boardwalk Empire, and he had pretty much the same accent that he does.
Is he a theater actor? That's my theory.
He might be.
That's my theory on why he's actually pretty good at this. I feel like theater actors really transition well to video games.
Yeah, because it's emotive, right? It's all with. You get yourself in that emotional state.
You have to use your voice a lot more as opposed to movies where you are filmed up close and they can see your facial reactions. In theater, you have to project feelings clearly.
Yes.
And he does a pretty good job. There's some quippy aspects to this game that are hit or miss for me. I don't think he does quippy well. There's some scenes about throwing rocks, and Mael kind of give him the business for throwing rocks, and it just doesn't land.
I agree. I do think that to get into the since we are talking about the story now and there are spoilers, I do think that this game does a good job. What really struck me about this game was the fact that these people, these inhabitants, Gustav, his compatriots, the people in Lumiere, it's a fucking hopeless, right?
Yeah, it's
been
really
happening
bad
literally
situation.
for these people their entire lives. This is
67
all they
years.
know.
Yep.
And what is kind of nice is that you're thrown into this hopeless situation on the day of a mass execution.
Yep.
And
we get to see all the 33-year-olds die.
And it's a party though, right? But it's not like a macabre party. It's not
It isn't, right? It's a very colorful and vibrant party with red and white
everyone's
petals.
Celebrating their own funeral, which I think is kind of nice. It's like, hey, how would you want to celebrate your funeral? Oh, I'd want music and a party and flowers.
Painting.
And I think that's painting, commemoration. And I think that's very beautiful. There wasn't a hint of nihilism in the story. There was. I mean, Gustav has it when he lands, all his friends get fucking wrecked and he's going to kill himself.
And what's his sister also has the nihilism of, I'm just preparing for the last generation so they're taken care of after we're all gone. There's a sense of it's perfunctory. We're just kind of doing this because we're doing it. I think Lune believes that this is the one. I think out of all the characters, she is the only one that's ready to go.
I was going to say on the flip side, if there isn't a lot of nihilism in the first, 2/3 of the game, there's a lot of hope, but it's a lot of hope mixed with
depression.
Yeah, it's like you're depressed, but you know that something good might happen, but you're also like but I don't care if it happens.
I didn't get the hints of hope, honestly. I always, like, as soon as I played this game, I'm like, oh, everyone's kind of resigned to themselves. There's not even hope that they're going to survive. Sometimes there is, but a lot of it is, what's the phrase that they have? For those who come after.
For those who come after, yes.
They kind of resigned themselves to dying. It kind of feels like a lot of them do.
Isn't that hopeful, that phrase? Because it implies an after.
It's a dark hope.
It's a dark hope.
It's a dark hope.
Well,
you're right.
I would say it's a hope that is infused with the pragmatism of their world.
Or is it a faith? Now that I think about it, is it actually more?
There are people that have worshipped
Expedition
the Patriots,
33
actually.
Kind of a crusade, right?
I mean, all the expeditions are crusades.
Right.
I mean,
but like
crusades are expeditions too.
I'm just kind of like thinking about that, where it's like this is kind of a faith-based thing. They don't know if they can even do anything. They just believe that they can.
I don't even know. In some of the journals, especially later on, you do get this sense. Well, for one, the earlier expeditions, there's this paintress. We can defeat this paintress.
Right.
Clear objective. They didn't know how hard it was to get to the paintress. Later expeditions, it became less about like we got to defeat the paintress and more about we got to set up these footholds.
We got to set up the climbing segments for the game. We got to make sure we're nailing these things into rock walls
because not everyone's
going
to meet SKA. Sometimes SKA doesn't have all of his rocks. Sometimes SKA feeds you mushrooms and you die. So
that's right.
They really the best journal entry is the mushroom death.
Crying because he didn't realize they were poisonous.
Yes.
And it's like, why are you crying? You're not the one dying.
Exactly.
So good.
But I guess the lack of nihilism, the continuing forward, despite the fact that it's not really. It's like why we go into work every day, right? I go into work. I think it's gonna suck.
I mean, I'm not gonna die when I go to work. Hopefully,
it's an expected misery, right?
Yeah.
But one of my problems with the game is you said that there wasn't a lot of hope present, and I tend to kind of agree, but hope is the underlying motivation through which these expeditions take place and through which the people in Lumiere continue to exist. The people who are expediting, they might not be hopeful. They might not think that they can do
I feel like the people who are expediting are actually more hopeful than the citizens that stay behind because they kind of just resign themselves to whatever's going on.
Oh, I'll take that.
But also, what this game actually... So, what I think this game kind of does really well. I don't think it does themes that well. I don't think it does large structural moves well. I think its twists bog it down a lot and kind of ruin a lot for me. What I think it does well is character interactions. I actually think it has a good grasp on character voice and who these characters are and how they interact with each other.
I agree. I think each character is incredibly fleshed out to where even their micro expressions through Unreal Engine, you can see the character's entire personality. For instance,
I don't agree with the facial expressions.
Okay, maybe not the facial expressions, but just for instance, at the end of Act 2, when everyone is killed, right? It's at the end you figure out that Verso has.
That's true. They do know that
Verso has betrayed everybody.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about two people in particular. CL, when she gets gommaged.
Yeah.
She doesn't expect it, but she embraces it.
She's she just is like, okay, this is happening.
But when Lune gets gommaged, she's confused. She does not know what is going on. She's panicking.
True. Yeah, they do nail the large gestures. I think the facial animations are just really weird in this game sometimes.
Oh, I hard agree. Like, for instance, at the very end of the game, if you pick Verso's ending and Lune does her little temper tantrum sit down,
God.
I love the fact that she does that, and you can see that she's so pissed. But also, if you don't have her face looks bad, and if you have on anything but her default hairstyle, it looks ridiculous. I've seen screen grabs of Lune with the gestural hairstyle, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? It's
so
with her?
Funny that you can add custom clothing, not custom. You get a whole bunch of different clothing options. I love dressing up in games.
Same.
It's so good. Did you have? Okay, I went through kind of like a. Shiel always wore the expedition. Like I in my head, like that's what she's just gonna be in it. She's not one to change. She really likes this. Lune, for a period, was wearing the expedition, got the pure outfit, and she wore pure for the rest of the game because I'm like, she's in charge. She's going through it. Like she has reached the perfect state of expedition leader. And like Mael went from, I had the like weird like pad, like shoulder pad, like kind of looks like
The
a
one
dark
that says
witch.
obscure.
Yeah. I had that during the second act where it's kind of like post Gustav death, so she's a bit more intense, a bit more gloomy, and then like at the end,
More gloomy. She's gloomy from like the start to the end.
right? But
Just
like
different
it's specific,
shades of
the
gloom, I
gloom
guess.
is like intense there.
Okay,
And
I
so
can
like
see
this
it.
is kind of how I read it. And then-
Gloomier.
gloomier. And then she changes her hair to gloomier. She changes her hair to match Alicia's hair. That when
Okay.
she disappears, and you get that because I'm like, oh, she's adopting that painted life now. Like that was I like had like a whole story with my. I put Verso in the civilian clothing because I'm like, oh, he's kind of like a vampire. He's like Alucard. Alucard just like wearing just normal civilian clothes while the rest of the party's just like in like.
And you have
fantasy
Minoko in the
outfits.
bikini.
And I had Minoko in the Speedo. Because it's Minoko.
Because it's Minoko.
Of course, if anyone would, he would.
He would, and he would love it.
He would love it.
And he did love it.
He did love it.
I think that you're right. I think that, so for me, I do think that your criticisms of the game are valid. I think
I'm so glad you're validating me.
I think, but you're wrong though.
Oh,
I think that
shit.
the game,
valid but wrong.
So they're valid criticisms, but also like the gimmick of the game is also the game, right? Like the game, the twist of the game is not that Gustav dies at the end of Act 1.
That's just air of shit.
The twist of the game, I would argue, is of course the ending in Act 2 when you figure out, you know, that Mael is this weird hybrid creature almost who was born in Lumiere,
Right.
grew up in Lumiere,
Right.
but she is a 16-year-old woman or I guess girl out in the real
Paris.
world in fictional France.
It's not fictional. There was an actual war between painters and writers. They both had magical powers.
Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
This is Assassin's Creed shit. So this is the twist. Assassin's Creed is happening in the background of the game, but what if they had the Templars and Assassins had magic? And it blew up my brain in a way like, well, there's the better game. This stupid war between painters who have the ability to make magic canvas that create worlds and writers who like to set people on fire. Like this sounds so dumb. This game
The game sounds dumb.
That game sounds dumb, and I want to play that game way more than I want to play this one. Also, revealing that you're in a canvas the entire time really hit home that this game shouldn't look like an Unreal Engine 5 high fidelity game. It should look like a painting
that was
until you escape, and then it's an Unreal Engine 5.
the fact that the real world looks just like the painted world.
It doesn't make sense.
A bit like they do what they can within Unreal, within the confines that they set themselves, so that you know that the reality of the canvas is surreal.
Right. And I will say they actually nail a good job of making the landscapes, of making all the worlds look just strange, odd, distorted, warped. It
Just
has
the
a
gestrels themselves are such a fantastic
these,
creation.
The gestrels are life-size dolls.
Yeah.
They're the life artist dolls.
But they're also paintbrushes too.
But they're also paintbrushes. Neat little thing. I really like the gestrels. They're also bros. They also want to fight everyone. They also want to
Because
kill
gestrels
and
are just
die.
stand-ins for dogs, as we know. But we'll talk about that
As
later.
we
but
know,
gestrels
Minoko is a dog.
is a dog in the real world in
Or
France
is it-
and the real world in the real world.
Yeah, the real world and the
So-
real world.
So Minoko and Noko are like the Deadpools of
God,
this
no.
game
We don't
because
no.
if you want to think
No.
about that.
No, I don't want to think about Deadpool, A, ever. B, I don't want to think about Deadpool in this game. See, that's so mean to Minoko. I like Minoko.
That's fair.
And that's just awful. Minoko isn't... Minoko's jokes are good. He's just not saying some random Mexican food as a joke. It's bad. Minoko's great, though. I
Minoko's
love
great.
Minoko.
I like the fact that once you figure out that, still talking about the game, within the real world of the game, he was a dog. And
That's like a secret optional thing I did not discover.
it's a secret optional thing that you don't have to discover, but once you do, their love for fighting makes a lot more sense because dogs love as you know with your own, to play fight all the time.
Yep.
And I like the fact that they get their special powers through bones, because dogs like to collect their bones and chew on their bones.
All dogs go to heaven?
All dogs go to heaven,
They
but
go
also
to the river and they get reincarnated.
they get reincarnated because no one wants to lose their beloved pet. So of course they're going to come. They're going to come back. So it just
makes it weird. It just makes Minoko and Verso's relationship a little weird, because
what it does is are all of the Gestrels pets in the real world? Like that's
no. I think it's implied that Verso created Gestrels along with created Eskia, and I like that. The painter Verso, the fantastical creatures he invented are like myths to the people of Lumiere.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cute.
It's very fantastic. But to get back to why you're wrong.
Right.
The fact that
I forgot this was about why I'm wrong.
So yes, the game's turn is that like Mael is the actual protagonist. She needs to make the game-ending choice.
Now, to be fair, I knew she was the protagonist from the jump.
Same.
Like, that it's just so clear that it's her story. So that's why I always had her in my party. I always had her as the leader.
But the fact that the gimmick is the game as a plus for me is because I view the game as a piece of literature that is attempting to interrogate shame and grief and regret. Mm-hmm. And when you look at Mael as the necessary infusion of all of those complicated emotions that she's feeling with regard to Verso's death, and how the story is really her story about how to best move on, how to best grieve in a healthy way for Verso's death and for her fault in it, at least the fault that she believes that she, it's her fault that Verso died. I think the game is a reconciliation and an investigation into like what goes into that reconciliation. Is reconciliation even possible? And what does healthy grieving even look like? I think that's fantastic.
I would agree if it wasn't so individualistic, because a lot of
grief is individualistic though.
But it's not. Grief is shared, especially in families. You are not grieving alone when a family member dies. Your family grieves with you.
Unless that family thinks that you killed that person.
Right.
And then you're grieving alone.
But I would like to point out, though, she also has another family that would help her grieve, which is her painted family of Lune, Xiao, Minoko, Verso. And I think the fact that if you...
and Gustav and the people who died.
Right, that Sophie. She brings back at the end. So I think there's this weird thing that happens, like to kind of like just jump to the ending. You have to choose, am I going to side with Mael? Am I going to play as Mael and defeat Verso and like keep the painting going and stay in the painting until Mael dies? Because
they're both Mael endings, so...
They're both Mael endings. Yes. Or do we do the Verso ending?
Which is the suicide.
Which is... suicide by canvas.
Suicide by, like, Verso's ending is Verso gets to die.
Right. Verso's ending is they wipe away the canvas, everyone dies in the world, everyone's gone, they all disappear, and Mael gets to properly grieve, I guess.
She's forced to properly grieve.
She's forced to. Right. That's the thing I don't really kind of like, because...
there is no good answer. There's no clear answer.
The game presents a clear answer, I think.
With Verso's ending.
Verso's ending is clearly the good ending, because in Mael's ending, she is like decaying, and there's a jump scare of her face decaying.
And everyone's like, yeah, why wouldn't you choose Mael's ending? Like, I love Gustav, Charlie Cox, man. I'd love Charlie Cox. I want Charlie Cox back. But when you see like these people come back, even the people that she originally brought back at the end of Act 2, there's something off. Like, the way that ending is shot, Gustav's smile seems uncanny to me, even within the reality of Unreal Engine. Something seems off. Maybe
I don't like any of them smiling, but that's the fair, Unreal Engine 5
But
weirdness.
maybe it's like the music, the undertone, and this is before you see her decay.
Yeah,
for the happy ending, it just seems so off. And then when you see Verso and that he's trapped there despite his wishes, like, that is not a happy ending.
Right. And this is the thing that I don't get. So like Mael,
but neither is Verso's ending.
Verso prays for death as Mael has the chance to kill Verso. Doesn't do it. for whatever reason.
Selfish reasons.
Even though she was fine with killing
everybody else except for the person whose death she felt responsible for in the real world.
Right. But
she couldn't let him have his wishes because she needs that time with him.
But there's nothing in the game that indicates that, because Act 3 is so short. Act 3 has very little to it. We don't see her struggle with the fact that like Verso died because of her, because Act 3 basically just kind of starts and ends with like, all right, you are now creating the greatest expedition of all time and bringing back, first of all, the start of Act 3 of Mael brings everyone back, expeditioners that died. I don't get that. Stupid. Second of all, why wasn't Gustav there? Really weird. That was
actually, that's explained though. Apparently, it's because he didn't gomage his what do they call it?
Lumina converter?
No. It's the money in the game.
Oh. Chroma.
Yeah, his chroma. His chroma wasn't extractable or reintegratable or something. Like that's why he couldn't do that then. But
what?
Yeah, no, I agree.
The mechanics of this is weird. It doesn't matter as much as it just feels rushed, really strange. It felt like we have to go for epic right now. This is our big moment. Act 3 literally can start and end. Having
an entire act where the entire act, it starts and it's like, this is the point of no return. Once you go to Old Lumiere, you are not coming back.
Or once you go back to Lumiere.
Once you go back to Lumiere, like the game, like you're
That's
right,
the end
it
of
does
the game.
Start and stop.
You can literally just get that last cutscene of all the dead expeditioners ready to go, then go straight to Lumiere and finish the game. And there's just this is where I think the game fails, because it does character interactions well. It just stops doing them in the third act.
Aside from the relationship campfire things, I would agree, because that's when you max out the relationship. Those are optionals, yes.
That's the thing. They don't force you to do these relationship scenes where it's like persona social links, which I love.
Fair,
I love that shit.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad they took that. You get to talk to different characters as... It is weird that it's Verso. It is weird that it's Verso that has these conversations as opposed to Mael. Don't know what that's about.
Oh, that's because, I mean, if they made Mael the playable protagonist, then you only have her good ending, right?
Well, then I think
that's the problem. They want you to play as Verso so that like you feel like I want Verso to have his last wish.
Yeah, and that's where I think it doesn't work. That's where I'm like, I don't think these moves work, as opposed to I like the scene where Lune and Shiel are like laying together discussing the grief of losing Verso. I'm like, oh, they're gonna hook up. No,
losing Gustav. Yeah.
I'm like, that seems really good. Like they have these great character moments with these characters, and this is where I'm like, Mael would actually learn how to grieve, and she would leave the painting. She'd come back periodically in her ending. That's like, I think she would do that because...
I mean, that's the good ending.
Well, but because she has those people in her life, that support system that would encourage her to do that. Do we think her father is actually going to not come back and be like, I need to get you out of here. You need to come back with me. Or like, Clea is not going to do that. Or like, Aline, the mother's not going to do that.
I mean, the mother immediately found it. Like, immediately found the canvas. And that was like the main issue with Renoir, is that like... The Renoir's there because he doesn't want his wife to die.
Right.
And he doesn't want Mael to stay because Aline is just going to find the painting again. You can't hide things from your parents.
Right.
You know, they'll figure it out. You know?
Right. And so this is where I'm like, it seems weird to imply with the Mael ending that she is going to die here and not properly grieve. Which is really what it implies. And like trapping Verso in a hell. I feel like if Verso had a conversation with her like, this is hell, can you please do, like, she would do it. I think like she would get over it and do it.
So you think... I actually agree. I think that the Mael ending is not the canon ending.
It's just not well thought out.
Well, it's not. It's because it's like you're hinting at, it's not a real ending. She's gonna get sick and tired of the place. Like if you're a god, you're gonna get bored.
Well, I don't think that's... I think she's just gonna have an actual honest conversation with the people that love her to tell her, you need to not do this.
And there aren't a lot of things that, like, when she repaints Verso, right?
Yeah.
He's painted older.
Yeah.
Right, his hair, like maybe he doesn't dye his hair because it comes out in the game. Big secret, he dyes his hair. It's really white. So maybe he's older. Maybe it's just his natural hair color pointed through. But it made me think, like, if she repaints Verso, Gustav, whoever died, can she repaint their memories too?
I assume.
And that's what I would assume too, which means that like Verso would never know that he wished for death that Mael never gave.
But he's
her.
crying in that ending.
He
knows something's fucked up. So this is my.
And I wonder, like, if that's because it's still Verso's soul trapped in there. Like, a lot of that wasn't really explained, and that's fine. Like, maybe the characters themselves don't even know.
Right, but it's really the thing that just grates me is Mael has a good support system, and in the process of grieving, that can really help people.
And she's not a fucking sociopath. Like, Mael
Right.
is
really
capable
paints-
of empathy. Like, she's
Yeah.
once she has that conversation, and I agree with you. Like, if once they sit down and Verso actually is like, Mael,
She would understand.
Dude, I've lived here for decades. Everyone I've loved or formed a connection with has died. I don't.
Or just being like, I already died. I already died in real life. Let me have that peace.
And not even that, but like I died many times in this world. Like I want to know peace. Like immortality is not a gift. It's a curse. It sucks. It's
But
boring.
also, let me do this funny bit where I chop myself in half and I like crawl around on my.
That was funny. I laughed.
It was really funny and fun.
I like the fact that this game.
It has good humor sometimes.
Because it's a painted world, it doesn't take itself too seriously. Despite the fact that it takes itself too seriously.
I think it takes itself way too seriously sometimes. Like the Mael ending is it taking itself way too seriously. Of like you chose the fucked up option.
Yeah, you chose the selfish sociopathic option.
When I chose that option, I was like, well, Mael has a good support system. She'll learn how to do this. Like she'll have a healthy relationship to this world, as opposed to an obsessive relationship like her mom did. Like, this is the culmination of her story. She is going to learn moderation.
We could
learning
assume, yeah. But
grieve properly while also keeping the memory of Verso alive.
But wouldn't... I agree. Like, we're approaching Mael as people who do not view themselves as responsible for the death of a family member that they love. And also we're approaching it from, the fact that we are living in a real world where grieving processes do happen over time. But I just want to point to the fact that the mom did stay in the painting for so long that she was dying. Right. And we have to assume that Mael's mother is also as smart as Mael, doesn't perhaps view like the Verso's death as her fault, but like Aline, if Aline didn't have the time to properly grieve, I think that we should assume as players that the creators would want Mael to also not have that time.
Right, but again,
there is something seductive about
who
it.
didn't Aline have? She didn't have Verso. She didn't have Lune. She doesn't have Shiel. She doesn't have actual people like help her. She was alone on a monolith. Just alone.
Because what happened was that Renoir was like, I'm going to come in. Andy Serkis comes in. He's like, there's no way out.
No way out. Traps her in the monolith.
But like she was forced into the monolith because Renoir was going to destroy the canvas.
Yep.
So she had to protect it. She was forced there.
Yeah.
Maybe she would have had the time to properly grieve, develop a support system if the husband didn't butt in.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
did.
Mael's ending seems like the most reasonable path to grieving properly, as opposed to the Verso ending where she's stuck with this dog shit family.
Except for the inevitable conclusion that you already pointed out, which is the fact that like the dad is going to come back and like want her out eventually. And maybe like we know that time works differently in the canvas than in the real world. So maybe Renoir's like giving her like a week, you know, maybe that's years in the canvas. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's enough time to grieve. Maybe it's not.
But
then the cycle's going to repeat in the canvas.
But the ending doesn't. But maybe, I mean, like the thing is, like I just don't buy. I'm not bought into this idea with the relationship she has with all these characters. That's the thing that keeps getting me. It's like the relationship she has is a really positive one. It's really nurturing and caring. It's understanding and accepting. Like when Lune and Shiel find out that Mael is a paintress, they don't disown her.
Well, because when you find out that your friend is a god that can give you anything that you want, I would also not be distressed.
I would be distressed.
Well, I mean,
I'd be very distressed.
I would be distressed if I was on their bad side.
I would just be distressed in general because that's like, I'd just be concerned because gods are unknowable. But know
the eldritch horror of it all would.
They know Mael. Like they know her heart, and
They know one version of they think they know Mael, but as we talked about like off podcast, the Mael at the end of the game is not the Mael at the beginning of the game.
But they don't do much to establish that.
And that's the problem that you have with the third act.
I can't buy into it if they don't do any of the work, is my issue. And I think we're doing more work for them as opposed to what the game does.
And I think
because it's in service of the twist. It's in service of saying Act 2, Verso's done, and then epilogue.
Well, yeah,
and then
that's why I say
erases
the gimmick
the epilogue,
is the game.
And goes Act 3, Mael. And I'm like, this isn't... But this Mael doesn't get as much time as the Act 3 protagonist as the other two.
And that's why this game is such a lovely paradox for me, is because the gimmick is the game, and like I said earlier, the game doesn't hold your hand with explaining the world of the game.
It does so great until that point.
Well, but that's the thing, is like it's still doing what it's been doing since the beginning, but it's not holding. It's like it's trusting the reader or the watcher or the viewer.
It is,
but
it still does explain these things. That's the other thing we got to think about too. It still takes the time to explain these sort of connections.
Well, but that's what the epilogue was supposed to do, though, and I think you're right. Is that
not enough time?
It wasn't executed. It wasn't given the room to breathe.
Right.
You weren't, as the player, given time to really come to terms with the fact that the Mael that is in your party now is not the Mael that you were playing with. It's not the Mael at the end of Act 2.
But it also is.
But it also isn't, because
we don't
Mael in the game is the Mael that grew up in Lumia, in this world, without the memories of Alicia, right?
Right.
And once she goes back into the painting, she has all of those memories, as well as all of the memories of, the girl who grew up in Old Lumiere.
Right.
So,
but
it doesn't give it room to breathe. It doesn't give it room to think about the implications.
Well, and even like she still is pretty Mael. She's more Mael than Alicia, I think. Like, is kind of the read I got, because she still really acts like we don't see much of a difference between Mael and Alicia,
and that's the problem.
And if they showed that, I could buy Mael's ending, because
there are some dialogues where Alicia does sort of talk about how she doesn't view the people in the canvas as
paintings,
no, she doesn't view them as people. She's kind of indifferent toward them, like Clea is. Mm-hmm. But Mael, the person who grew up in Old Lumiere, who knows these people as people, views them as people. And the game doesn't do a good job of trying to reconcile the fact that, like, these are not people to Alicia, but these are people to Mael.
Yeah.
Why is this weird?
But I do think it does actually kind of... See, the thing that makes me think
it explains the selfish ending, because selfish Mael, right? The selfish Alicia, I should say, would say she doesn't view these people at the very end as people. There are things to satisfy her grief. However, Mael thinks that she's saving the people that she loves, her support group.
Right, but if she doesn't think they're people, though, then why would she bring them back?
Because she does think that they're people.
But if she thinks there's people, then why doesn't she treat Verso like a person, like she treats Alicia like a person who she does unpaid?
Because they're not people to her. Like, that's the thing. They're only people to her when that's why her ending's really fucked up. They're only people to her if it serves her idea of what the people are supposed to represent for her.
But is that anything that's supported in the text?
I don't think so.
But that's my issue with it. That's why I don't think it works, because I don't.
It's implied, but it's implied.
But only
if you read a little bit.
I think we have to do
that. Sounded condescending. Not if you read a little bit, but like, you have to take what they give you, the morsel that they give you in that epilogue, that very, very short epilogue scene, right? And you have to extrapolate it out, and that's.
But then we have my crux of the issue, the side quest with Alicia and Mael taking care of the Alicia problem, where she unpaints her, because that is what Alicia desires. That's her wish. She wants to be unpainted. She wants to join Renoir and Aline. Mm-hmm. She wants to join her family.
Yeah. She's lived long, she wants
right. And that makes sense. And then Mael gives Alicia that gift.
Perfect.
And then that's just when it comes to Verso, and there's nothing to indicate that, like,
why. I have to ask you a question. Why would Alicia not erase? I mean, why would Mael not erase Alicia? What connection does she have to
Because
Alicia?
Verso wouldn't want it.
Which is the main crux of their problem, and they do resolve that. Like Verso says, you did this. I didn't have time to say goodbye, and you know how much that hurts. And she says, I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I know this hurt you.
Right.
But Alicia
she seems to indicate that she has learned from that experience.
No. It's a basic non-apology.
No, she seems. I read that as she actually feels really bad about it. And it's like, I'm sorry, I was just respecting I was respecting the personhood of someone. Mael is a person who respects the personhood of people, and kind of her main problem is, especially at the beginning, is people are constantly telling me, don't do these things that I want to do. They don't treat me like a person. I want to treat others like persons. I treat Gestrels like people. I treat SKA like a person. Throughout this journey, she treats people like people, and then there's like this weird twist when it comes to Verso, and it feels more like a shocking thing, like it's like a shock value as opposed to someone who is about personhood. It's
because Verso for her is not. Verso is the sublimation of her grief and her regret. And since she is not ready to move on, since she has not grieved properly, because honestly, who would grieve properly when there's a magical world that you could enter and like just relive your fantasies?
I would simply grieve normally.
You would, but you've also never entered a magical painting.
I enter a magical painting all the time.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm Mario 64 and over here.
Woohoo!
I'm on Bama Battlefield and going, these aren't people, as I run around.
So that's the thing though, is that like Verso's not a person for her. It's an emotional hurdle.
But she treats Verso like a person.
Because that's sort of like how humans have a difficult time with anthropomorphizing things. You know, we always want to anthropomorphize things.
Yeah.
Just because Verso represents, or actually is, just like a stand-in for her grief and regret, and the fact that allowing him to live forestalls that grief and regret because of what Mael says, which is, I want that time that was stolen from us. Mm-hmm. And that right there is like, that's like a crack addict or a heroin addict just chasing that last thing. I want the time that was stolen together. Well, how much time is that going to be? I don't know.
But like the thing is, I feel like though when Mael is, it just feels.
Alicia is her, and she doesn't have a problem destroying herself.
But also not like again. I just don't. The game doesn't build enough time of Alicia / Mael, or Mael being in the grief of losing Verso, because it's all a post Act 3 thing.
I agree.
Or during a post Act 2 thing.
Yeah.
And there just isn't that time to build that like read for me. I just don't see the relationship like that again, especially because it's like she has such a human moment with Verso after killing his sister, his idea of his sister.
But the way that I sort of viewed that is like, you know, too much information. You know, I grew up in a domestic violence like household, and you would see the very real apologies of, you know, the men who were beating up, you know, my mom. You know, the very real earnest in the moment apologies before they went right back to their own selfish behavior.
But Mael isn't like that. And Alicia
why would you?
Not like
how would you
either.
know that though?
Because we know Mael. This is the thing. We know Mael. I know we can say this is a new creation between Mael and Alicia, but she says I prefer Mael. She is living as Mael.
She's trying to live as Mael, but like the problem is like Mael is still a petulant, selfish 16-year-old girl who's.
Is she?
She is as.
I don't think she's that selfish.
As a 16-year-old, she might not be selfish in the traditional "I want what's mine," but she's selfish in the way that she approaches the world. I want to do things my way. And when you pair that with the fact that you have regular Alicia, real world Alicia, who is also 16, also viewing the same thing, and when she wants things her way, she's gonna get it. Like we were all like that when we were 16. But
I was a weird kid.
We've all experienced like thinking that we know that this is the right way. This is the way that I'm gonna do it, and it needs to be done this way.
Yeah,
we've all experienced that level of like irrational stubbornness.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. I'm more stubborn now than I was 16. As evidenced by this conversation where I'm just like, no.
Well, and I'm also, but I also
wish
agree with you.
I wish I could buy into this. This is the thing. I wish it was there. It just isn't. It just isn't. And I think that ending it just feels not as well thought out as the Verso ending, which is, I think, really thought out, makes a lot of sense.
I cried during the Verso ending.
It's hard for me to cry.
That's fair.
In games.
But I'm someone that, like, if you show me a piece of media and it connects with me, I'm gonna cry. Like, I am a big, like, crier during movies.
I love crying during media too. Don't get me wrong. I love to cry. This didn't reach anywhere near that for me.
Yeah, and that's fair. It's gonna hit people differently who have different life experiences and have different relationships with grief and being able
for
to
me is the story effective, and I don't think it is.
The story, and this is why when we first started talking about this and you asked me if I thought the game was good, and I was like, well, after sitting with it,
I think it's still pretty good.
It's still it's for what it's trying to do and for something that hasn't really been done.
Yeah.
Which is using media. To my knowledge, it hasn't been done. Like I said, you're more of a gamer than I am.
I object to the classification of calling me a gamer. I may play a lot of games, but ideologically do not.
Okay,
I do not align.
I do
not align with the gamer ideology.
You have more exposure to
a
vaster swath of video games than I do. But I haven't played a lot of video games where you are playing a game, you're playing as people, you're playing as a literal role-playing game, but the game is just a metaphor for grief.
Well,
and the difficulty.
I think that's a lot of games. I think that's most Final Fantasies.
Well, I think that there's a difference between a game having grief undertones or being thematically about grief and a game trying to say, this is grief, and now I want to make a game where, like, this is like you're literally playing as grief, and the irrationality of grief, the selfishness of regret and shame.
I highly recommend either Pathologic game where they make it's not grief, but it's suffering via mechanics as a narrative. Like, I think there's a lot of games that do this. I think an actual RPG that really does this really well, that is more accessible than Pathologic, is Norco in that way.
Okay.
Where Norco is about religiosity and, like, the trauma that comes from it, and, like, living with disability via both story and mechanics, and playing personifications of those.
I will definitely give that a shot. But I guess I'm not properly communicating it. It uses what the team behind Clair Obscur did really well is what the team behind Returnal did really well. And they took the team behind Returnal took a roguelike game and said, how do we make a game about depression? Mm-hmm. Let's make it a roguelike, because you can never climb out of a roguelike. You think that, you feel like you're progressing through a roguelike, just like you feel like you're progressing out of depression, mm-hmm. and then you just end up sinking back down again. There is no way out when you're really experiencing that emotion.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a decent job of trying to make this game, through its JRPG style, a game about the difficulties of making that choice with regard to grieving.
I don't think any of the mechanics tell that story, though.
The game itself does. Like, a lot of JRPGs have, you have this choice: save the world or destroy it, right?
Not really. It's usually just save the world.
It's usually just save the
world.
world.
You don't really get a choice.
The implication is, if you don't save the world, it's going to be destroyed. The difference in Clair Obscur is that you are given the choice, right? You're given, you walk out of the canvas or you don't.
I don't think the choice is necessary. I think you could cut the IL choice, is kind of where I'm kind of leaning towards. I think it should just be the Verso ending.
I would agree with you, and I think that given your experience with the epilogue and how rushed it was, I think that your choice is absolutely valid and correct, because the Mael ending does feel rushed. It feels off.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the stuff like the Verso ending. The Verso ending stuff actually hits pretty well.
Yes, but the reason why I like the Mael ending, even with all of its problems, is because when you are an addict and you are addicted to something, just like Mael is addicted to the canvas.
Now, are you speaking this as an addict, or are you just
Yes, actually I am.
So, okay. Because it's really easy to fall into addict language without having the actual...
Yeah, no. That's why I don't... I'm an alcoholic, so I don't drink.
Yeah, I get that.
That ending is bad. You know that absolutely nothing good is going to come of that ending, because best case scenario, she moves on, and she leaves, and then those people die. Like, those people die. Those
Yeah.
are actual people. They die. Like, there's no good ending for the people in this canvas.
I mean, they're not okay, but they're not actual people.
We could talk about this in a second, because for all intents and purposes, like, the reason that the Mael ending is powerful is because you know that despite what the best option is for yourself, which is to grieve in the real world, you're going to keep coming back to the thing that's going to kill you, right? You're going to keep coming back to that drink. You're going to keep coming back to to whatever is destroying you because it's providing you with that solace, despite the fact that it's destructive.
I also think this is more of a metaphor.
Grief can be destructive.
Yeah. I think this is also kind of a weird metaphor for kind of live service games in a way too. Do you want the game to end, or like you move on, you be done with it? Like, yeah, you're like, damn, I played this game. I'm gonna kind of have to grieve it. I'm done playing it. Move on. Or do you want to continually be in this game and you're just kind of rotting this like experience of yourself of you're just constantly going back to the well?
I like that.
I think it's playing in kind of like that near space where Near Automata is like, oh, are the robots NPCs or are the player characters NPCs? What are you doing when you're doing violence? I think it does it better than Near Automata does because Near Automata is kind of stupid. But
that was a DNF game. I did not finish Near Automata.
DNF?
Did not finish.
Oh. I was like, DNF.
So
yeah, I think there's kind of like that. I think that's almost more what they're aiming for than kind of grief sometimes, where I'm like, are they kind of aiming like a metaphor for art where it's like, do you stay in the same art thing that's comfortable, that's secure, that is like, I am keeping with this world, this property that I like, or do you move on and experience different things in the world?
And it's also fitting that they are all coming from Ubisoft, right?
This is also true.
Which is a live service company, so it might be direct actual shots.
Do we stay with the company that is slowly killing us, even though it's the safe thing, or do we grieve leaving here and then try something
and then make a game that's so antithetical to their system? Right?
Yeah,
to their live service.
Yeah,
system.
it's not like a long open world checklist game.
Exactly. I think that's interesting. I honestly didn't think about that.
But they're not real.
But they are. So the problem with that is
because they're just stories.
They're just stories, but they are people. Like, they do have consciousnesses. They do feel pain. They do interact.
Do
with
we
people.
know that?
Yes, for how they interact with us. Like
does an AI chatbot that says I feel pain, is it actually feeling pain?
I mean, if you really want to take this too absurd, I don't know if you feel pain.
That's true. But I mean, we do because we're humans in this real world materially.
They are humans to each other as well. They are people with dreams. And you see this throughout Act 1, just at the pier. They are people who have a hard time losing each other and coming to terms with death.
Of course, but they're also story characters. Like, this is kind of the thing that, like, it's not that it's a bad thing that it's like this. I think there's something here where it's like, they are characters in this story. They will go away eventually. You're going to stop thinking about this game at some point. Isn't that them just being gommaged and moving
probably
away?
Like that's the nature of just death itself for us humans too, right? That we will be forgotten and so not like playable characters anymore.
I don't think it doesn't mean that it's like bad because of it, but I also don't think it's like that super interesting, like thinking about these characters as real people and like, oh, it's kind of really bad when the characters all finally die because the canvas is gone.
It's bad insofar as, like, that world's gone, it's destroyed, right? It'd be like if this planet was wiped out just unexpectedly without rhyme or reason, just gone.
Classic dinosaur situation.
Classic dinosaur. We would not know it's coming. It's 1 minute we're here podcasting about a game, and the next we just simply do not exist.
This is why I send all my podcasts out in a rocket ship and like a Voyager sort of situation. It's just aliens are gonna get this and go, what the fuck is a game?
I love it. But like that doesn't discount the fact that, like, all of our lives are internally rendered, right?
Of course. Yeah. I'm more just saying this in a sense of, I don't think it just hits for me as well, because I'm like, well, I wish maybe the game was playing more in that space, but it's not trying to do that.
It's the same issue that you had with the epilogue, is that it doesn't take the time to, like, let you interact with the people of Lumiere to recognize them as people, because you're only with your compatriots. You get the brief bit in Act 1, and then you're gone, right?
Yeah. I don't know why I brought this up now that I think about it. I'm like, it's just one of those things that I'm always like, they're trying to pull on my heartstrings. But
even if they're
work.
not real people, right? Even if they are just ideas and stories, right? That doesn't take away from the fact that they do have an effect on the real world itself, right? Yeah. Because that's all our hopes and dreams are.
Yeah.
I mean, and I told you before, I had a James Baldwin quote.
Oh, yes.
It's from his book, Nobody Knows My Name. And he says...
But his name's James Baldwin.
I know. Everybody knows his name now. He's not a racist prick. So James Baldwin, he says, though we do not wholly believe it, yet the interior life is a real life, and the intangible dreams of people have a tangible effect on the world. And it's just sort of explains better to me, like, how even if these people of Lumiere aren't people,
right,
they're still
tangible ideas.
If you take away their consciousness, they're still tangible ideas that have an effect on Mael, Alicia, Aline, all those people, Renoir, even Clea, right? Like, Clea can say that she doesn't care about it, and maybe
she's lying.
And you definitely know she's lying, because she fucked Simon. Like, she had a relationship with Simon. Simon was,
I don't know any about
her
this.
lover.
Oh wait, so like Simon's not a real person in the world.
No, in the painted world.
Okay, so she fell in love with a painted guy named Simon.
That's what I took from the backstory.
That makes sense to me. See, here's my thing. Clea would simply get Mael out of there.
But Clea and Mael don't like each other right now. Like Clea and Alicia. Clea, I think, does not like Alicia. But at the funeral scene in Verso's ending, Mael, Alicia, is just looking toward Clea. She wants Clea's approval. Mm-hmm. She's not even looking at the grave, really, of Verso. She's looking at Clea. Clea never looks at her and walks away without talking to any of them.
I think she would still get her out.
She would only get... She has said it in the game. She doesn't really care what she does. She needs Renoir. And in order for her to get Renoir, she needs to get the wife out.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody gives a like, ostensibly, the only person who cares about Alicia right now is the dad.
I don't know why, but I just read Clea as Tsundere. And so, like, I just imagine she's putting on a front to protect her warm heart. She's putting a cold barrier on. I don't know why I got this read. I don't think it's there. But for me, I'm like, oh, she's the Tsundere character that actually cares but pretends to not.
I mean, I think that Clea might care, but she cares only about the real world.
Yeah.
And Aline only cared about the fake
She cares
world.
about the war with the writers, which I also too care about only.
Down with the writers.
It's amazing that it just painters versus writers. What are they doing to each other? The painters, all we've seen the painters do is make canvases that make these weird simulacrum worlds. And that's it.
That's
How is there a war? What's the war going on?
If there is going to be a sequel to this game, I want the actual like war between the writers and the painters, because it's going to be so absurd.
What if it's not absurd? What if it's just like a cover shooter? And they're just like doing like operations.
Honestly, it does kind of sound like that, because like the writers, right? They did subterfuge. They burned a house down.
They burned the mansion down.
Fucking pyromaniacs. The writers are arsonists.
What is the writing power that leads to them burning down?
Well, you've seen the meme, right, where the guy's writing with the feather and the quill, and it's fire.
I've never seen. I have not looked up any online discourse for this. I have not.
No,
seen
it's
any
just
memes
it's just the gif of the person writing with the pen and it's
Oh,
fire.
you're
Like
right.
maybe they did that.
Right.
Like actually, like maybe
they just have like death notes and they're like Verso and
maybe they actually didn't mean to, like, maybe because Verso, the real world Verso, didn't really want to be a painter. He kind of wanted to be like a writer / musician. Maybe they were just like like writing down, like scribbling some mad ass poems, and it was so fire that it caught fire and burned the house down.
I know it's truly just someone walking with like Molotov cocktails throwing them into there. That's definitely just what happened.
That sounds more like James Joyce than
Look,
a French, right? They would be cutting heads off if they're French.
But they did burn him down. They didn't cut off Verso's head, which would have been
down.
Interesting.
Oh my god, that would have been that would have been fucking funny.
Just a complete. That's another problem with the epilogue. I just think that's such a cooler and dumber idea than this.
The epilogue is a problem because it gives you two choices, one of which is a false choice, and the other of which is unsatisfying for players who like Mael.
Yeah.
Like,
I that's the thing. I glommed onto Mael like instantly. I'm like, I get this character, and that character does the things that like made sense with that character, especially the grieving of Gustav, all that stuff. We can go back into it. Like, my final statement is, I just don't get the Mael ending. That's it. That's
and
just
now that
truly
you're
it.
saying it, and even with what I said about how she's a combination of both, right? Like the people of old Lumiere, of Lumiere, they know that death is coming. They don't really, they know it's an inevitability, right? So they don't really feel any kind of like it's more like a, man, that sucks, they got gommaged.
Yeah.
Right. The only grief around death that we see in the game is Sael's reaction to her husband's death, which was an untimely death.
Yep.
And that drove her to want to kill herself.
Such a sad, like swimming out.
Like that to me was Sael's story is.
Hers is about grief.
Hers is the
grief.
better story about grief.
Yeah,
than
that's
Mael's.
the thing. Like,
because like with Mael, right? On one end, she doesn't care about death if she's Lumiere. On the other end, she obsesses about it because she's responsible for it. If she's a combination, it should be a net negative in terms of lived experiences.
Or it should,
because she didn't grieve about Gustav for very fucking long, you know?
I mean,
like,
well, again, we don't know how many days have passed.
Fair enough. We don't know how many days have passed.
Like, it could be.
It hasn't been a year.
That's for sure.
So we know that it hasn't been a year.
But we also know she is still grieving him.
Yes, but we also...
She brings him up and gets sad quite often.
Yeah, but I think if Gustav were to come back to life and was like, oh man, heaven was so awesome, please kill me so I can go back there, you're going to love it, she would do it.
Well, I think
but she doesn't do it with
I think
Verso.
if she told Gustav the situation, and I think everyone knows...
Gustav would be so ashamed of Mael's decision.
Gustav would be like, look, you got to fix this.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
Then she would.
Yeah.
This is the thing. She has too many supportive role models who would tell her to make the right choice and convince her to make the right choice.
No, you're slowly winning me over to your side.
I think it feels like light character assassination on Mael a little bit.
And that's the
it
problem.
makes her seem so cruel in a way that even Alicia isn't.
I agree. I think, and that's the problem with using an idea or an emotion as the scaffolding for a game, because there is no satisfying way to like overcome an emotion. There are exceptions.
Yeah.
And for me,
I think there's a lot of exceptions.
Like
Outer
for me,
Wilds is a big exception of the emotion of existential dread.
I agree. And I think if you're just going to use gameplay as like a metaphor for, or as a vehicle through which you explore metaphor, Returnal is a much better game than Clair Obscur in that fashion, because the two endings do feel contrived, because that's not real life isn't that reductive either.
Yeah, it feels you're right. It feels really reductive. At least just the Mael one. Again, I'm fine with the Verso one. I'm honestly kind of fine with the Verso one, where
Verso's like my chosen ending.
Yeah,
personally,
I chose Mael because I'm like, well, who would win this battle? It's the person that's 10 levels higher and is the paintress, and so I chose Mael. I was like, well, this isn't a competition. I actually decked out Mael. I never used Verso.
Yeah, Mael absolutely. Like, what's really fucked up is like the canon ending is Verso's ending, but the canon victor is Mael.
Right. There's no way Verso's winning that fight.
There's no way that Verso's going to win that fight.
But also they also wouldn't fight is the other thing that it felt really forced them fighting.
I agree.
It doesn't make sense to me that they're fighting too. Like,
for me, the game ended with Act 2 and the realization, like, it would have been interesting if the game ended with Act 2 and Clea tells Alicia to go back into the painting, and then that's sort of
right.
The
she
game ends.
Woke up from the painting and then had to go.
And then you get the backstory, right? You get the backstory. The epilogue is actually an epilogue and not just a sneaky third chapter that lets you choose between two unsatisfying endings.
Mystery box.
And like I said, the mystery box is the game. The gimmick is the game.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong in that. I'm just...
No. I don't think it's as effective as it could be.
It's not, but it is also what makes it a good game, because you don't see a lot of games try to do this.
I think you see a lot of games try to do twists, and they're bad. I don't think you see many games pull them off effectively.
That's true. That's because a lot of gaming studios don't value their writers as well as they should.
Nope.
The writing in this game was...
It's a lot better.
It's a lot better. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. I'm thinking about like Final Fantasy 16, the Final Fantasy game I played. Also thinking about it because Ben Starr...
Yes.
Voices
he
Clive,
Yeah.
and also voices Verso in this. I think Ben Starr, as a weird he's being cast as the broody, dark, like mysterious man.
Well, he has that gravel.
He really does have that gravel. It's a lot better on Verso than it is Clive, I'll say that.
Clive's is weird.
Clive
I haven't beaten Final Fantasy 16 yet.
It's a bad game.
I know, but I kind of like it.
I can't believe it.
But like
shaking my damn head.
I love fighting as a big creature.
You know what? That's fair. It is kind of fun, but you don't get to do it that often.
I know, and it's and to be fair, like they're mostly just QTE movies, you know. Like
it's real bad. And then like Soken is phoning it in, which really Soken, the composer. He also does Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
he's really phoning it in that game. Where I'm like, how many times do I have to hear the fucking Final Fantasy main theme? I fucking hate this.
Well, and that's what I heard so often during Clair Obscur is Final Fantasy X. I heard a lot of the instrument do 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 do.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
do 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 do. But in Clair Obscur, it's do 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 do. Like they fucking go for I swear to God, they take Final Fantasy X notes. And then because they want to pull those heartstrings.
The one I really do like the motifs, the light motifs in Clair Obscur. There's like the piano, like 3 notes that descend. That is really good. And that pops up a lot of games. The game gets motifs and classical music in a way I appreciate. I don't know why Lune's theme doesn't have classical guitar when she plays that. Her theme not having guitar in it when that's her instrument drives me wild.
That is why I did not notice
ridiculous.
That. But when you that's kind of crazy.
I cannot believe. I'm like, this is another thing about Lune we need to talk about. She has them grippers out. She's barefoot.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people were trying to say like. They were trying to draw connections between Lune possibly being autistic and having sensory issues, and that's why she's barefoot.
There's no reading there whatsoever. That's just what?
I mean, I've seen like posts about that and how she never really makes eye contact with people.
That's just, I think that
might just be
that's just the Unreal Engine 5. Nobody makes eye contact with anyone.
Yeah, it's the same issue that like
you can't
Mass Effect Andromeda had, right? Where they can't control the eyes.
You can't do
well.
Faces that well. It's just hard, especially like smaller team.
I think they were just going for like, this is the mage and she flies.
Well, yeah,
and if
she's
people can fly,
she's kind of a pixie manic dream girl a little bit too. Oh, Shiel's more like that.
Yeah, CL's definitely more like, because she has the bangs.
She has the bangs, and
she's
also she's kind of wild and quirky, and she likes drinking, and she's
good for just a fuck, you know. She just wants to fuck. Like her husband's coming back, so we're not gonna do it anymore.
I love the relationship of like her and Verso getting really close to each other, and then breaking up because she realized, well, my husband can come back now if we succeed. I'm not gonna.
That seemed real to me.
It was really good.
Very mature.
This is the thing.
Yeah,
I love the character work in this game. I really like that. Also, Shiel, you should be with Lune. What's happening?
So, do you think that like? So, what I said earlier about how this is like the first good jack of all trades games, it seems to me like this is like like it's a jack of all trades game. Pieces are really good, but taken together now as a whole, we really like the combat. It's really good.
Yeah.
Main beats of the story, really good.
Yeah, I think the first 2 acts are pretty good,
but like
surprisingly,
like if you take the components, it's an amazing game of your game.
Lesser than the sum of its parts.
It's lesser than the sum of its parts.
I
it's
think
like
so.
The jack of all trades motif. So
I don't know, jack of all trades. I like those better than.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Jack of all trades are hot. Like
sometimes, but they're a master of none. You know,
better to be a master of none than a master of one is the full phrase of that.
Fair enough. But
that's the full saying.
I don't know that.
Yep. It literally, master of none is literally a reference of how it's better to be a master of none than, or master of none than a master of one, because you're more well-rounded.
I think that is totally fair. But like when we're talking about the game, right?
But when we're talking about this situation,
when we're talking about this very specific situation in which I'm going to take this quote out of context now, the individual parts that a lot of people glom onto are amazing.
I think they're pretty good. Yeah. I think the game looks like ass, but yeah.
I think that this is an amazing game, and I don't know all the games that have been released this year. I think that the more, it's sort of like how everyone was like Sinners is a really amazing movie, and when I saw it for the first time, I was like, holy shit, this movie is amazing.
Pretty good movie.
When I saw it for the second time with you and your partner
Red.
and my fiance, I was like, this is still good, but like,
It's a horror movie. It's a good horror movie. It's a popcorn flick.
And then when I saw it for a third time, the more I sit with it, the more I'm like, okay, I don't really like this movie that much.
Well, you're seeing it multiple times and burning yourself out on it. I am,
but what happens is like with my mom, right? Yeah. I have to explain things to her. So the more I spend trying to explain things, the more time I have to sit and think about these things, the more I find problems with it. And then the more I'm like, okay, this isn't as good as I originally thought it was when I first had that experience.
You're getting rid of the excitement bias of seeing something new. Yeah, exactly. Recency bias. That's exactly it.
And I feel like a lot of podcasts, gaming journalism, just journalism in general, it's all recency bias. This is the game of the year because this is the best game that I've played recently.
Yep. Oh God, yeah,
this game's really good. Is it the best really game I've played? No, but it's really good.
It's pretty good. No, I really think this game's pretty good.
It's one of the better turn-based games that have came out recently. But then again, last year you had Metaphor Refantasio.
No, I don't know.
Never played it, but apparently like that's a really really good turn-based game that was in discussion for a GOTY. But like, I do think it's a recency bias. I don't like this game as much as I did a month ago. Like I wish we had done this podcast a month ago.
No, I think it's good to sit with things. This is kind of the project of the podcast too, is sitting with things, thinking about them, and talking them out so you can kind of really drill down to what our feelings are.
Yeah. So I do think that there are a lot of issues with the execution of the latter third of the game.
The overall plot is kind of its weakest point.
And I don't know if that was like because they just didn't have the time or the budget to really flesh it out. It's hard to end
things too.
It's hard to end things. Stephen King knows this. It's very hard to end things.
He has some good endings to the book. Salem's Lot, Cujo, Duma Key.
2263 has a really good ending.
Never seen it or read it.
Or seen it.
I've never seen it.
Try not to watch James Franco as much as you can.
Oh, yeah. He's an abuser.
Yes. Before he was an abuser.
No, not before. He was
always an abuser. He was also a bad actor.
He's also a bad actor.
Who's also an abuser.
Yep.
So yeah, don't watch the show. Read the book. Great ending.
I'm so excited to get to the Just King Things episode where they read that. You should listen to Just King.
I've started per your recommendation. It's excellent.
Good. It's really good.
But yeah, I think that.
What's your 5-sentence summary of Clair Obscur?
My 5-sentence summary. I'll give you 5 words.
No, 5 sentence off the dome. Got to explain the entire plot of Clair Obscur in the Just King style.
Well, I mean, when they do The Stand, right? When they did The Stand, they had a lot of semicolons.
Yeah, of course. Use your semicolon and colons as you desire.
Okay, so 5 sentence.
5 sentence.
As best I can, right off the dome.
Right off the dome.
To encompass the whole game.
Yep. The entire
all spoilers.
Happens. Yep.
So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a game where you start off as a character and that character dies, and then you get to play as his copy, Verso, who's the real not protagonist. Right. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a game where you do not get to play as the main protagonist. You simply revolve around the main protagonist, who is Mael, who is also a painted copy of a real version of Mael, who lost her brother, who is Verso, in the painted world, but in the real world is dead. And Verso in the painted world wants to die. Mael in the...
Wait, hold on. I think this is on sentence 3.
No, I'm a semicolon all of this.
Oh my
God. This is all the same central idea, but separate clauses. Semicolon.
English major, bringing it out.
Verso in the painted world wants to die. Verso in the real world does not. I mean, well, he's already dead.
Parentheses. He's already dead. Close parentheses.
The game is, and then Act 3 happens. You find out the game is really an examination of grief, in which the main character, who you do not play as, gets to choose to be a heroin addict, or does not get to choose to grieve healthily.
I think that is more than 5 sentences. I don't think you can use the semicolon to connect these clauses.
Dude, I wanted to do a 5-word thing, which was essentially...
what's your 5-word?
Good initial taste, good initial bite, bad aftertaste.
I don't think it has that bad of an aftertaste.
Good initial bite, sour aftertaste.
Yeah,
Just because the game doesn't have a satisfying ending, nor does it have a
doesn't
realistic
have
ending. If you're gonna,
but it does. Because I'm sold on the Verso ending. It does have a satisfying ending.
And I guess it does. I guess it has a satisfying ending and a realistic ending. In that Verso's ending is like, this is the real world, and you have no choice but to
that
move
is a
on.
satisfying ending to me. I think that's a satisfying ending. I'm like,
Because I mean, that is the
closes it
real
out.
ending. If we lose someone in the real world, we don't get to go into an imaginary realm and hang out with them yet.
But have you not heard you can get recordings of your loved ones and put it into an evil chat bot so you can
have heard of that.
talk to them forever still in the most fucked up way of not grieving possible.
Yes.
I wish this game was more of a metaphor for that, but it was being developed as these things are kind of coming to fore, so I don't think it is, but it kind of runs really parallel with that in a funny way.
So give me your 5-word summary of this game.
This game's pretty good.
This game is pretty good.
Yeah, this game's pretty
Can't
good.
have the illusion. This game is pretty good.
Yeah, this game's pretty good.
This game's pretty good.
Yeah, this game's pretty good.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm really happy with
Amazing
this
bite.
game. Amazing. A good
Delectable dessert.
I think it's a delectable entree into an RPG. It's it's long. This game's long. I want to keep saying this. Even if you go straight through, it's still probably like a 30-hour game. There's a lot.
There's a lot to this game, and I do think that like once you get to the third act, if you don't immediately just go to fight Renoir and end the game, then the game is unnecessarily long.
Oh, I have a problem. So in that final Renoir fight, he summons the Sand family painting. Bro, I took that painting. It should have shown nothing. Because you can go to the canvas island and grab the Sand family painting thing. And
that's right,
blank.
you can.
Yeah, I took that. Why is he summoning that? I have
He just
it.
painted a new one.
What the hell? I thought that game was about to do something really cool when he summoned the portrait, and I thought it was going to be blank, and he'd be like, "What happened to it?" And I'd be like, "I took it," and then no, it just kind of did an attack. I'm like, lame.
I thought it was like
That
such a parent move to do, like guilt tripping someone.
That is
you know, like I'm gonna do I'm
gonna kill you with my family portrait.
Exactly. I'm gonna be passive aggressive. This
Yeah.
is your family. This is who you're sacrificing.
Yep.
So heavy handed. So lovely.
Andy Serkis does pretty fine. I don't know. He kind of seems like he's sleepwalking a bit through it. He doesn't
agree.
really have a range.
It's just him talking for me. Like
It's just him talking. Yeah, he doesn't really have an emotional range to it. And his grunts are really not great.
no, and
It's like getting it's kind of nothing. I'm like, how much money did you have? Did he do this all in one day?
I might be speaking entirely out of my ass, but I feel like what makes Andy Serkis a great voice actor is that he's also a great mocap actor.
Yes.
And for him to get that emotive response, he needs to be doing the motion.
Do you know what game he does that well in? Heavenly Sword.
Oh, I'll have to try that.
No.
Okay, never mind.
It's
Fuck
an old
that game.
PS3. Well, it's okay. Heavenly Sword is a really weird PS3 game. I don't know if you can get it anywhere. I mean, you can emulate it. Fucking Anna Torv is the main character.
Really?
Yes. No, you
Okay.
should look into this game because it's just such a weird oddity. We were getting into the era of mocap and facial camera for games.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So there's some wild documentaries about Andy Serkis being the lead mocap director for all this, and watching Anna Torv do the acting for a video game. I'm like, what is this? I love this. I was obsessed with that game when it came out.
I'm gonna have to at the very least YouTube it. But what I was
Don't
trying to
watch
say
the
is
movie. Don't watch the movie.
Okay.
It's real bad.
not done. So when I was listening to I think a YouTube production thing of this, Andy Serkis was talking about the difficulties of trying to emote to an already rendered character.
Yeah.
And I thought
did he
that
get
was
to see
interesting.
his faces and
He
everything?
did.
I think that's a bad choice because then they have to try to match that.
And I think that's why you're sort of seeing why you think he's phoning it in, because once Andy Serkis, he's just going to talk normally.
Yeah.
Because that's
Renoir doesn't have much variation in himself.
no Randy. He's just this menacing.
Did you call him
old man.
Randy?
I did. I
Randy.
did. He's this Randy. Randy is so menacing. I've never met a menacing Randy. But yeah, I think that it does come off deadpan because he's doing it deadpan. He can't emote like Charlie Cox can do it. So
he just don't got it. Well, it's also just the characters are written differently with Gustav versus Renoir.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gustav is more whimsical.
Gustav has more of that range in the writing, where Renoir doesn't have that in just the dialogue.
It would be interesting to see like Renoir and Verso as like Expedition Zero, like when they were trying to figure out the Paintress thing and figure out what happened. It would be interesting to sort of see them at the start, before they get jaded and fight each other. And
great DLC idea, the Expedition Zero.
But like the more we talk about this game, the more I'm like, I don't really want to see any more content from this particular universe.
I would like, I would like to see the writers be painters. I would like to see that. I need to see it. I need to see like painters like painting these giant canvases and throwing them at writers and like sucking them in to like the canvas worlds and having battles there.
I would just like. What? I just don't know what are they fighting about?
Yeah, what are they fighting about?
They're two different modes of creative outlets.
It also feels like kind of a metaphor for game development again, right?
They're totally missing out on what could be amazing graphic novels, if you ask me. Like Alan Moore should have been.
No,
Moore.
He would not do it. He would not be. Oh, you want me to do your soulless giant video game?
Alan Moore burned down the house. Yeah, Alan Moore killed Verso is what you should take from this podcast.
Right, Alan Moore killed, and he did it from England with witch magic that he does. He was like over a cauldron and shit, and like throwing in ingredients, and he's like, I'm gonna burn that.
It's more
house
like
down.
a Rasputin-y.
Yeah. It's like green. He has like the long, scraggly beard.
Yes.
Alan Moore rules.
Good game, perfect game. No.
What game's perfect?
This game's replayability has replayability, but I don't think I'll play it.
I just really like the combat. You know, I really like the enemy design. There's the one little fucking giant stone golem when he gives shields. He does like a little spin dance and jumps. It's so cute.
The one that stabs themselves and then gives themselves shield. I kind of like that one.
The dark priest, the dragon priestess or whatever. Where they like stab themselves with a sword. The fucking enemies that I hated were the ones that you had to shoot because I thought that they were so useless as enemies. You're just gonna make me waste AP to shoot at you. Yeah,
you're gonna die in 5 hits. Why are you here?
I do like shooting the mine guys though and blowing up the mines.
Those are
feel
fun.
good.
This is very satisfying.
It does feel a lot of the mechanics feels good. And maybe that's just incongruous with the world, but that's fine. Well, not every game could have a good mesh of story and mechanics.
I agree, and I think that this is
More should try.
So this sort of goes into like one of your questions later is like, what makes this like a really good turn-based RPG is the fact that it's not a passive one. So
yeah,
the fact they figured out turn-based, right? Because what people find boring about turn-based is the part where it's not your turn, right?
I think that's wrong, but sure.
That's what I mean.
That's I. Do we know this, or are we making up a guy?
We're making up a guy.
Okay, I just want to make sure because it's like
we're making up a guy.
Yeah.
We're making up a guy who's like really likes to press X and then hates it when they're not pressing X.
Yeah, we're talking about like what the sentiment of Japanese games were to like Western people in the era we grew up like learning about games like in the 2000s. This feels like that sort of criticism.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
they kind of made it more.
They made it more active.
Yeah, you got to pay attention always because
exactly you can't set it down. You need to parry. You need to dodge. You need to jump. You need to.
I do hate that I can't pause when an enemy's attacking. That sucks.
Yes.
Because sometimes life is happening to me while an enemy's attacking.
Yeah, but the one thing I do like about this game is that the saves are very generous. So like even if like a real world thing does happen and you die,
you just go right back.
You just go right back like right before the fight.
Yep.
It's not like Dark Souls or something where like you have to.
That is true. The saves are generous.
Yes.
I will give it that. Do we have like a favorite? What's your ranking of the characters? Like to play mechanically.
Let me think about this.
Because I think I'm going Mael.
Oh, like favorite combat
right,
gimmick?
Like mechanically, who's your favorite characters? You have to rank them from highest to lowest. Top for me, Mael. Next to that, Lune. Next to that, Minoko. Fourth, Shell. Fifth and last, Verso and Gustav. Vusto.
For me, Mael and Lune are tied for 1. I'm gonna choose. Mael is 1, Lune is 2.
Yeah.
I really like the sorcery aspect.
I like Mael switching between stances, very Slay the Spire.
Yes, I really. She's the Watcher,
Yeah, she's the Watcher.
And that's why I really liked her. I did not play Verso fucking
like Verso
at all. My first
like
playthrough, he was my favorite. I liked him more my second playthrough. I used him more than Mael my second playthrough because I found a few fun like breaking mechanics.
Yeah,
like,
I guess he is a
just
breaker.
Mael is just OP.
I just like Mael dealing damage.
She's so cute.
I love
Just
her little
parry
sword.
it. I like
So you're going Mael, Lune,
Lune,
Verso.
Verso, Minoko, CL. I liked Minoko because once I finally figured out how his wheel worked,
I love
thought
Minoko.
that was very interesting.
I love a blue mage. I love a
I like a
character
blue mage, too.
that copies enemies' moves. It's really good. I like that he collects feet to do it.
Yes.
Fucking weird.
But that's not to say that I dislike CL. I think that
I dislike
CL,
Verso and Gustav, but I do like CL.
Yeah, and me ranking her last is not to say that I dislike it. It's just that I honestly, like, for me, I thought CL was a little bit too. I really liked her so. I thought she was too broken. I thought the combat system was a little too. Because there are certain weapons that you can get where one attack will give you 10 foretells, and then you can just like you just do that, burn them down. Do that, burn them down.
Yep.
I thought the foretell system was really interesting. I do like a good card. I do like a good gambit type character.
I do like that characters have their own different gimmicks.
Yes,
their own different styles to play, and you can work around strategies with
and
that.
their fighting styles mimic their personalities too.
Oh yes.
I guess why I'm ranking her last is because I felt like with every other character you could see their personality in their fighting style. I didn't really see fortune telling or foretelling in CL.
She was not like that at all. You're right. That
that's kind of like why I'm putting it last, is because it didn't feel intrinsic to the character. It didn't feel like, like you see a character in like King Arthur and he picks up a sword and that sword was meant for him.
Right. Like, yeah, and she's gonna shoot a giant laser beam out of it.
Exactly.
Right.
I said exactly don't know why. I don't know what you're trying to say, but it's like you can see Mael being a fencer, right? Being deft and dexterous, and Gustav and
using
Verso,
mechanics.
Using mechanics.
Gustav has like the Lumina arm.
And Luna, who's so like intellectual and plans everything out, needs to figure out the exact way.
Is constantly doing hand motions.
Needs to figure out the weakness of the enemy and exploit it. Minoko likes to really fight, likes to tug, likes to play with his feet, his bones, his legs, and that comes through with his play style. And for me, like, honestly, like, even when I didn't know how the wheel worked, it still was sort of like how a puppy just wants to fight, and it doesn't really matter how it plays; it just wants to play. But CL, I was like, okay, why is she doing fortune telling?
Yeah, why is she a fortune teller?
There are a couple of dialogue moments where it's like, what are the stars saying to you? And it's like,
but
that felt kind of contrived to me. Got a little tacky.
Like that wasn't like her main character thing.
It felt more to me like people were asking her that because she has tarot cards,
right?
And she's expected to know, but really, like, CL's like, I don't know. I'm reading the star.
Why do you ask me?
Why are you asking me? Like, what are the stars saying to you? And it's like, I don't know. What are I forget the exact dialogue moment, but where she says it's like I'm not the one looking at them; they're looking at me, or some shit. And I'm like, okay, that's unnecessarily cryptic and vague.
That doesn't help. Thank you, Mael.
So yeah, I think that would be my order. Would be Mael,
Lune,
Verso, Minoko, CL.
Those are pretty similar.
Honestly, SKA's fighting style would probably.
Yeah, we didn't talk about SKA much. Who's SKA?
SKA is just me, man. Like, I have the potential to be the most amazing fighter ever, but man, I'm just so lazy.
Well, and SK is like this weird riddle balloon guy. I don't know. How do you describe SKA's like build? Like, because like Gestrals, like Minoko, they're like the life, like the drawing life size dolls.
I've seen people sort of liken him to like a pillowcase that you put stuff in. Like you stored, like it's
very
just
fluffy
a giant
pillowcase,
and it likes to hold things. So that's essentially what he is.
Yeah, very light, very squishy. Likes to hold wine inside him.
Who hasn't held wine inside of a pillowcase before?
Right.
Who hasn't had pillow wine?
Who hasn't had pillow wine? Really good bit of Minoko told me your secret, and then punches, but not Minoko, but punches SK, and SK just starts vomiting.
Vomiting.
Wine.
When that first happened, I was very confused.
I was so.
And then
confused.
I was like, why are they drinking SKA's blood?
Right. No,
is this his blood? Is this his life force? What's going on?
He's, Jesus complex, blood into wine.
Yeah.
It's very good. SKA is very good, very cute. Love that he's the transit system.
Yes. And
I love he's the airship and the boat.
I love that he gets
car.
mad at Verso for like withholding things from him.
It's just like, I told you.
You always had
bad.
Sorry,
Yep.
I'm mad at you about that. It's like, I can understand that.
Yep. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
The character that the character that I empathize with the most, that I see most of myself in, Francois.
Oh yeah, being grumpy in a rock.
I feel like Francois a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what character do you identify with the most? What character is Faden?
I think it's Mael is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I identify a lot with Mael, and I think that's what frustrates me a bit.
So what do you see in Mael that you see in yourself?
Just constantly, like, especially growing up, being told what is right for me when I, like, haven't had a chance to figure that out for myself. Kind of being, like, pushed to where, like, people wanting to push me to where to go, and, like, I finally had to make my own decision of who I want to be.
These are the answers. Don't worry about how we got to them. There aren't any other answers.
Yeah.
That's it. There's only one life, and there are these rules for that life. Do not explore any other options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like I had growing up, I also had, like, just, like, a lot of, like, I wasn't allowed to have much agency in my life, and, like, there are a lot of expectations that were placed on me, and
so, like,
breaking out to, like, also, like, and, like she empathizes with people a lot. Like, she really, like, she, like, gets Minoko, she gets the Gestrels, like, she gets the curator.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she understands the curator and understands, like, he's not a threat.
Yeah. I do think that is one of her.
So it kills me she can't empathize with Verso. It just kills me.
It does, but it's also like when you're that deep into something, it's easy. Like, the smartest, most rational people can make dumb choices when it comes to something so personal to them.
Right, but she's also, I don't know, because, like, empathy isn't really rational a lot of times.
No, I definitely agree with that.
And so, like,
but that's why I don't think that she's really empathetic. I think that she can be empathetic. She can be, like, put herself into those shoes, but I don't think that she's as empathetic. I mean, I consider myself a decently empathetic person, but I've also been blinded by my own biases.
Of course,
too.
I just more just, like, in the sense of, like, I don't know. I really, like, kind of relate to kind of just she needs to break out of this, and I don't know. I just, like,
and it sucks that you can't really see her do that. Like, it is unfulfilling for Mael because there is no character growth.
Well, and, like, all the pieces are there.
Yeah.
It's like someone laid out the pieces for it, and you start building it because it's happening, and then they just knocked it over. And, like, weren't expecting that, were you?
Or they stopped. Or
they stopped building. Yeah, they just stopped building.
They ran out of pieces, or they ran out of time.
Yeah, just ran out.
Yeah.
Or lost interest.
Or lost interest.
Lost interest and go, what if I build it? Or maybe they broke it down, like, what if I build it this way, though?
But I want to tell this other story with this Lego set over here. Yeah.
But also Lune. Actually, I think Lune is also another one I really relate to. Because sometimes you just got to be the one to say, we just got to keep doing this. We just got to keep going. Yeah. We can't get bogged down with these. We just got to go. We just got to do it.
I think if there was one character who I wish that I could relate to, it would be like a CL, right? Yeah. Someone who has dealt with grief and moved on.
And conquers her fears, too, with the swimming scene with Verso. That's really
Granted,
good.
She did try to kill herself and would have succeeded if it wasn't for SKA.
Yeah.
So, like, at what price does that, at what price does that character growth come?
Well, her character growth, though, comes from the continent. She actually grows when it's the continent.
No, I agree. And that's actually one of my cons about this game is I don't think there's any character growth whatsoever in this game for anybody.
Lune especially not.
Yeah.
Lune doesn't even like get in to find out where her parents are and stuff. It's just like, it just kind of leads to nothing.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, there's no character growth. Who's a character that grows in this game?
I think Mael kind of does, and then they kind of just reverse it.
So if you have growth and then you reverse it, is there growth or is it a net negative? Like,
I don't know.
Or is it neutral?
I don't know what to call it.
Like, that's what's unsatisfying for me is that there is
Minoko, maybe? No, not really.
I think if there's only character growth, it probably would be Renoir.
Well, and also you do kind of get character growth in the regards of how characters relate to each other. With all the relationship scenes, like the Persona social links, where like you're getting the scenes with Verso and the other characters, there is growth in that sense because they are changing their like.
There's relationship growth, but not character.
Well, Lune does start becoming more trusting, though. That is something that does actually happen.
Yeah,
she does learn to open her heart. So if anyone does, it's kind of Lune.
Which makes that Verso ending so.
It's so weird then.
It's so weird
because she would know it's fucked.
Because it's like
she would know it's wrong.
Because you can have a relationship with CL or Lune, right? And if you're Verso,
you can?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know it was
sleep
optional.
with Lune. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
know. Or
know.
CL, yeah.
Oh, so I read their last conversation is that they were going to start sleeping together. Not that. Oh man, I didn't know you get to choose.
Yeah.
So
like if you chose
I just thought it was
Lune-
just CL because that one made sense to me because CL was clearly into him.
Yeah, but Lune was into him as a shy person is into someone. He had to sort of break it, like get to know her interests, her guitar. When are we going to play together? You know,
you're right.
I
can see that.
But then at the very fucking end, if Verso does what he wants, he's like, I've really developed these feelings for Lune, and then I'm gonna fucking murder her.
The other thing that's weird is though the cutscenes wouldn't imply that they would have that relationship, the main story, because of how much she doesn't trust him.
Kind of, but it's also like
and how pissed she is at him for lying many times.
I do think that's one thing that sucks about this game is that you can only reach max relationship level after Act 2.
Oh, okay.
It makes sense. Like I
feel
it's
like a max relationship thing as opposed to because the CL thing is like can happen in Act 2.
Well, because CL's very much like hey man, I'm gonna die. I really just want to get it in, before
girls
I die.
Want to have fun.
Girls just want to have fun. So her flirtation's very obvious.
Right. Okay.
From the jump. Like she even like you can even sort of see it with Gustav a little bit. Like she'd fuck Gustav in a heartbeat if she could.
Yeah, true. My thing is she also seemed like she could have fucked Lune, but that didn't happen for whatever reason.
I agree when their hands kind of touch.
It's so romantic.
I was like, oh, it's cool.
Together.
They're together. That's awesome. And then it's like, once Verso comes in, it's like, okay, we got to have this cishet normative relationship.
Not enough gays, not enough queer in this.
No black
game.
people.
Well, there is one, and he dies.
Oh God, you're right. Oh my God, how could I forget? And he's the one that he's the
cool one.
He's the cool one that saves Gustav initially, and then gets plucked up from the hand.
He was the cool one.
He was
Lucien?
the only black
character. I think his name.
Lucien. Yeah, you're right.
I remember because he was actually really cool, and also he seemed like he was flirting with Gustav a bit. So I was like.
I mean, it is very French in that regard, and that everyone's flirting with everybody, and also very French in the fact that there's one black person that you immediately forget, I guess. Like
that's rough.
Like there's no POCs at all.
Oh, Lune.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Lune's great. I love Lune. I think actually I'm changing my answer. I relate to Lune more because especially when you said the shy person thing, like, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Lune's.
I also get mad at my crushes.
and if I was gonna, I guess Lune is the only one with character growth because she does move on from that shyness if you do max out her relationship level with.
Well, and she like really comes into her own as expedition leader.
And she learns that there's more to life than simply following in her parents' footsteps and doing their research. Like that's character growth.
She's great. Lune's great.
Lune's the best character in my. Lune has the most character growth and thus makes her the best character in my opinion. Yeah, the most fleshed out character.
Any last thoughts before we move on to questions?
No.
All right.
I'm getting brain dead.
Let's get on to questions then.
All right.
First question comes in from Natan. Is Clair Obscur a greater turn-based RPG by not only having a jump button, but a jump counterattack?
Sure.
So, yeah, because you seem a little hesitant. There is a bit that Dale usually does. The game is good if it has a jump button. That's how we know this is a bit.
Oh, that's a bit. Okay.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, I think having a jump button, the fact that it incorporates the regular real world jumping into actual combat is superior.
It's neat. I do like the jump counter.
Because of course, if you're in a real fight, you would jump to avoid something if you could. If it was
there's some moves where I'm like, why can't I jump over this? But sure, whatever.
And it adds a variation. So yes, I do dig it. It makes the turn-based system more active with a different dodge or parry.
I do like that you have to kind of oh, is someone going to do a gradient parry? I better get ready for right trigger. Or is someone going to do I need to dodge it, or do I need to parry it, or do I need to jump it?
Yes.
I do like different parries like that.
But jumping did give us platform puzzles, which I hate, so it's actually a far inferior RPG. It should have the jump in combat and out of combat, no jumping.
I just think about the Final Fantasy 15 secret dungeon where you can get the regalia flying tools or whatever, where no, you get the flying to get there. Anyways, there's a jumping puzzle dungeon, and Final Fantasy 15 has a very similar jump to Clair Obscur. Oh, can we talk about how they didn't get rid of the Assassin's Creed with the hold right trigger to run?
Yeah, I hate that.
It's so silly.
I turned it off.
Can tell.
I just turned off.
Oh, you can turn it off?
You can turn it off. Yeah, so you can just run whenever. Which does make platforming harder.
Yes, it would. It's so funny that they're like, no, we have to have right trigger to free run like an Assassin's Creed game.
Yes.
And they're going the exact same speed. It's the exact same speed because I love those games and I know that speed in my head. I'm like, oh, I'm doing free running now. Okay. Han also asks, how do you perceive the Frenchness of the game?
With the baguettes and the mimes.
Oh my god, the mimes. We didn't even talk about the weird mimes.
Yeah. I guess, the Frenchness of the game, I feel, is exemplified
with French?
One, with French, but no, more so than that, with its unsatisfying ending with regard to grief. How grief is never ending and you cannot escape it.
I almost said watch Clea from 5 to 7. But I don't know if that's about grief. That's about being worried about the future. That's uncertainty. But that ends really well. I love that movie.
Well, that's a surprise if it's French.
It's a movie about 2 hours in the life of a woman.
I'll have to check it out.
It's really good.
Sounds good.
My favorite part about the Frenchness, the accordion.
Oh,
they need to use the accordion more in the game.
I agree. The accordion is an underutilized instrument.
Right. They use it a decent amount, but they need to use it more.
I feel like it has a lot of variety, a lot of variants that can be used, but most people just hear the tune that they're familiar with the accordion, but it has a lot of
accordion
power.
Has range. Yeah.
A lot of
Weird
range.
Al Yankovic told us and showed us that accordions have range.
Yes, Weird Al should do the music.
Weird Al should be doing, not for this game, just the fucking RPGs in general. Let's just have Weird Al composing video game music.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. Lawson asks, do you think Minoko and Verso explored each other's bodies?
I think. To what extent? I don't.
Oh, they'd be fucking. Oh,
I don't think, knowing what I know about Minoko, I don't think they fucked. I do think that Minoko has explored more Verso than Verso has of Minoko.
I don't know.
Just like how my dog has licked me far more than I've licked it.
Okay, but the thing is, we got this question before I learned about the dog thing, so my head was like, yeah, they be fucking. Especially the last conversation they have where it's like, all right, who's going to be a little spoon tonight?
Yes.
Which is great. And the thing is, he's not a dog in that world.
He's not a dog in that world, although...
Do gestural fuck?
Do gestuals fuck? That's a good question. How do they fuck? Do they brush the head against their head hair against certain parts of their body? If a Verso fucks a Minoko, and we don't know their relationship, is there danger of splinters?
I don't think so.
Or do we have to assume that Verso would be a bottom?
No, I think Minoko's the bottom is the thing. I think Minoko's almost exclusively the bottom.
I think they're both bottoms.
They're
and
switching?
That's the problem. You
think they're both bottoms,
and that's actually why they haven't, because they're incompatible.
Oh my god.
That's why they have such a frustratingly physical relationship, because they want to explore each other's bodies. They want
the
to fight,
only way they can top is
but
dueling.
they can't. Exactly. The only way that one of them can top is when they're fighting.
So now
yes.
this is the actual thing.
This is the canon.
Do they determine who bottoms by who loses the duel?
Yes, because whoever loses...
Or reverse, whoever wins the duel gets the bottom.
Whoever wins the duel gets the bottom.
That makes sense to me. Suzor asks, simply reading the plot, who do you think is more reasonable, Aline or Renoir? If no one, then what would be the better solution? I think we kind of exhaust this kind of thing where it's like, oh, they're both...
Clea?
Yeah, Clea, where it's like, we got a real world. Yeah, it's Clea saying we got to deal with the fucking writers.
Renoir and Elaine...
Renoir makes the most sense.
Renoir makes the most sense, but they both act terribly. They're both not acting responsibly.
Right.
Renoir even going in to save his wife and him being away from the real world, which he knows is the real world, and he can die, and his whole fucking family can die in the real world. He spends an inordinate amount of time trying to chase his wife in the painting instead of just letting her do her own thing. Yeah, Renoir should have just let her do her own thing.
And it's if you also think about the Mael versus Verso ending too, it's kind of like the Aline versus Renoir ending, right? In a weird way.
Because what good is going to come of that? Okay, you get her out of the painting. She's going to want to go back.
Yeah, it truly makes no sense.
Yeah.
That last act.
So Clea,
yeah. Who is your favorite boss?
Ooh, you go first.
I like... my favorite boss. I like the Lamp Master. I struggled with that one. It was a lot of fun, and it was a real clincher of a boss fight. I barely won that one. It was epic.
I do think Lamp Master is the best fight for me too. Is the most impactful.
So
one.
Unique.
It is, and it doesn't tell you like with the puzzle, right?
No.
You could miss the puzzle. You know. I know I did the first few times.
Yep.
And I mean, he's just such a cool design.
I love multiple arms of lamps. What's not to love?
I liked the paintress fight a lot.
That one was alright.
I thought I'm just trying to imagine you're a citizen of Old Lumiere and you're just looking at the what do they call it, the thing that 33 is painted on,
the monolith.
You're looking at the monolith.
You see
reality rip. And you're just like, what the fuck?
She does really do that Final Fantasy final boss move where it's like, all right, I'm ripping reality. This
is
and
Final
summoning.
Fantasy 14 Endwalker here. This is
for
that.
real. I actually I really like Renoir, the not the last one, but the one where he summons the lion, because that lion is really sick. That lion's,
I really like
when the lion
Gustav
comes
Renoir
off. I'm like,
fight.
You do the one you lose.
Yeah, well, but you win, but you lose. Just like the game.
Yeah, no, I really
feels impactful, meaningless. Oh God,
I just really like that lion. It's sick to have a lion. I thought it was I was like, oh, Renoir has a wolf because it looked like a wolf at first, and I was a lion. I was like, oh, that's sick. Never mind, I'm on board. I don't know why I'm like
sucker
wolf,
for a lion.
Boo,
Yeah.
Lion, hell yeah.
I like big cats more than big dogs.
Well, if it's like a wolf's just done too many times, a lion though, not as much.
Yeah, fair enough.
What was your favorite song?
Minoko's song was probably my favorite.
Minoko's pretty good. I also like the Gobu Flying Waters boss fight where it's also electronic.
Yes.
Flying Waters has just the best music in the game.
I think the Duelist one is also a pretty good song.
The Duelist A is pretty good. I mentioned it before. The Act 2 world music's pretty haunting.
I mean, all of the music that you hear during all of the boss fights, they're all very good.
I think the last Renoir one isn't really that great because it also is running to the vocals aren't mixed or recorded well issue.
Which just lends credence to your idea that the third act was rushed.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Who has your favorite weapon? Oh God, now I'm thinking about the rush thing.
Ooh.
You know what bothers me about this game? The fact that they had placeholder AI art, and I can't. Now I'm everything's suspect on what they made, and Is the music? Is maybe the music kind of bad because it's AI music? Probably not. But also, the fact that I have to ask this question now is kind of ridiculous.
But the question was about what weapon was your favorite.
No, I know. I just got distracted. I was just thinking about them using placeholder AI art and then just calling every single design choice into suspect because it's like, well, fucking what else did they
Well, that's
do?
a slippery slope of AI, too. And quite frankly, I feel like we should be shaming people who use AI anything.
We should tar and feather them.
Because you never know, like you said, if the end product was actually created by a human and a human was paid for it and compensated.
Right. It just destroys credibility in a way that is just really fucking depressing because I was like, oh, the people who did actually do work on this game.
Yeah.
Who busted their ass. Now it's like, well, now there's an opening. Now there's an opening to question everything.
Exactly. It's like Late Night with the Devil. Which was a fantastic horror movie that gets lambasted for using AI for some of its animation. And I can't fault people for lambasting, like for fucking going, like criticizing.
It's bad. It looks bad, and it is bad.
Exactly. And like, why do you feel like you need, have faith in your product, you know, have faith in your creative juices and your work.
It's also just, they don't want to pay someone. That's a lot of times it's
yes.
AI is specifically a labor, devaluer. It is there to devalue labor and nothing else.
Yes. But to my favorite weapon, I think Verso has my best weapons. I think that his weapon choices have the most, him and Miles have his weapon variances have the most. I think. Yeah, I really like them. Lune's are the weakest for me.
My favorite weapon though is Lune's one where it's like a 50% chance to get a light stream when you consume a strain. And so I was just constantly like getting her elemental genesis.
Oh, I was just thinking about the designs of the weapons.
Oh, you're thinking about designs? I was thinking mechanics.
I was thinking about how pretty they were.
I really like hers though. I really like the floating talisman
I
thing.
hate shiny I'm just like, oh, you're Diablo 3's sorceress, who also had the worst looking weapons in Diablo 3.
I don't know Diablo 3, so fair.
Just
I like Ciel's
I'm a sword guy, I guess.
Yeah, you know, being a sword guy is really fulfilling.
It's pretty basic though.
Yeah.
You're
a Shiroemia.
I am. I've been called that many times before.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
I don't know what it means, but...
You should play Fate Stay Night, a visual novel game that I love.
I should play a lot of games.
You should play a lot of games. That's so true. Dale asks, what made this game more accessible than Persona series, which seems to be a clear inspiration to COE 33? Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Go for it.
I don't know if it's more accessible. I think this game's actually
I don't know what it means by
I think
more popular.
Yeah, but Persona 5 was really popular. I remember hitting that like a fucking freight train. Like people were into it.
Oh yeah, and all of the remakes too that it's getting like
that look bad.
The
Persona 4
remakes,
one looks really
bad. But I think like a good sign of like a game's accessibility, which is to say popularity among like just the masses, right? It's how many remakes it's getting,
or like how like they do re-releases and how popular they are. Like the Persona series is pretty popular now.
Honestly, like okay, so to take Dale's question and sort of tweak it, if Persona 5 was released at the same time that Clair Obscur was released, which game would be GOTY for you?
The issue is Clair Obscur can't come out with Persona 5, and you know this because of the menu. The menu is copying Persona 5's menu, like in battle and combat. The free aim, the guns is very Persona.
I agree. The free aim is definitely Persona, but
I would like.
But the menu system, because you can kind of see the menu system in Persona 4.
Yeah, it's just very Persona 5 inspired though.
I agree.
It looks like the same button placements.
But if they came out at the same time,
I'd probably say Clair Obscur because one of them isn't over 100 hours long.
That's one reason why I've never finished a Persona game. So I guess
Persona 5 especially is fucking wrong. Oh.
So a little bit of backstory.
Yeah.
I know the voice actor who voiced the pedophile gymnasium teacher in Persona 5.
Can't remember his name.
The voice actor is DC Douglas.
Okay.
And when I was going to grad school at UC Santa Barbara, my girlfriend's roommate at the time, young, like 22, DC Douglas was in his 40s.
Oh no.
Yeah, they were a thing. He was pretty gross, honestly, to her and just.
This guy's a known sex pest.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
I knew it then when I saw them hanging out together. But yeah,
I'm sorry that you know DC Douglas.
Well, there's the voicemail that I don't have because he's a sex freak. But because he voices Legion in Mass Effect.
He also voices Albert Wesker in the Resident Evil series, which is a big fucking bummer.
Yeah. But I have a voicemail, or I got a voicemail where he's Legion, like just a personalized. Because Al, his girlfriend at the time, told him that me and my girlfriend were really big fans of the Mass Effect series.
Yeah.
So he gave us a voicemail as Legion.
Yeah.
Which I thought at the time, I was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You're like 45 like right now,
You're
man.
Old.
And she's like 22. Like she was a young PhD student, and it was just like
that's fucked.
And all the drugs, like just so many drugs to young women. Didn't like it. DC Douglas, if you're listening to this podcast,
go fuck yourself.
Trash.
I would say go fuck yourself, man.
Yes. I would say go fuck yourself, but you are not a minor, so I don't think you would.
Ooh. Well, on that note, Jon, thank you so much for talking about Clair Obscur.
I guess to answer Dale's question.
Right.
Dale, I think that what is more accessible and I guess more popular would be Clair Obscur, simply because it's easier to get into, easier to finish.
It also has the Western appeal of high fidelity graphics. It doesn't look anime. For me, I think this should look more animation.
I agree, but I think for me, for Persona 5, the social calendar fucking gives me anxiety.
Oh,
and I cannot handle it.
That's fair. You know what? It doesn't have that. It does. You're right. Like that gives some people anxiety.
I can't do it.
Yep.
Can't do it. I got to plan my game time.
Yep.
No way. So Clair Obscur, definitely. And DC Douglas, you're trash.
Thank you again, Jon. This was a lot of fun.
This was a lot of fun.
Right?
Thanks for popping my podcast cherry.
Of course. I love popping podcast cherries. I'm doing it all the time.
You're popping cherries all the time.
Nope, just podcast cherries.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Do you have anything you want to shout out, promote, plug? Or
nope, nothing
good
at
vibes?
All. Keep reading books.
Keep reading books.
Keep thinking about words.
Love words.
That's it.
Yeah, we love words here.
Words are important, and we should think about them.
I agree. We should always be thinking about the words we consume, unironically.
Yeah.
Hence this long fucking podcast. I'm so sorry.
I am so sorry for the rambliness of it all.
You can find me on Bluesky, Faden Cross. You can ask me questions for our upcoming game, Still Wakes the Deep, which will be releasing at the end of this month. You can also... Is it a good game? You like it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Hell yeah.
I love that game. I love Still Wakes the Deep.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm excited. We're going to play that and the DLC, hopefully.
Ooh.
Yeah, that just came out.
Oh, I'll have to, if you stream it, I'll watch you play.
Probably won't happen since we have a weird, we're going to all be playing it like on the couch together on my PlayStation. Like all the hosts are. We're going to come over to my house and we're going to play this.
So it's like a Let's Play?
Yeah, but we're going to be passing the controller around. Mostly because I'm a scared baby and I hate horror games.
That's fair. It's a very scary game.
Yep. So it'll be for me. I can actually announce what the next Too Many Games is going to be. Me and Uncle are going to be talking about Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, which is kind of like Baldur's Gate, except I would argue to preview it way better.
I've never played it.
I recommend it.
I find the Warhammer universe too dark for my
I used to, sanity. And now I'm starting to become a sicko.
Fair enough.
I'm starting to give blood for the blood god. Yeah, it's the world we live in.
Yeah, the world we live in is turning you into a 40K zealot.
Yep. I'm thinking about Jimmy Space. Until next time.
We all know that you're into Warhammer 40K just so you can get closer to Henry Cavill.
No, I fucking hate that guy. I don't think he's attractive. B, I think he has really, really sexist opinions about women.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I'm like, when he said that thing, it's like, you can't make jokes anymore. I'm like, all right, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. You're like one of the people say you're like the hottest man ever in Hollywood. Go fuck yourself, dude. Anyway.
Henry Cavill, I still find you attractive, but your views on women are antiquated. If you're listening.
Henry Cavill, if you're listening, you're on notice. And until next time, have a great month, y'all. Bye-bye.